Chapter 680. After the Black Tiger clan was wiped out, the situation in the country became delicate. All the forces were curled up and did not dare to show their faces. When the Black Tiger clan was interrogated, someone revealed Shi Shang's name. However, Shi Shang did not smuggle drugs, kill people, or commit crimes. Other than the fact that she used to be Lang Yao Tian's woman, she was as clean as a piece of white paper. How could the police believe what they said? Shi Shang did not kill anyone. When she made a move, she basically knocked people unconscious. She never endangered their lives. Killing is against the law. I know. Speak human language. Hashtag if the host knows that killing is against the law, it calls her daddy. Hashtag dealing with the body was too troublesome. Shi Shang did not have time to care about Su Shan recently. Now that she finally settled the Black Tiger clan, she took the time to pick up Su Shan. This school did not have evening self-study in junior high. When Shi Shang arrived, school was just over. Shi Shang waited until all the students had left before Su Shan carried her bag and walked out with her head down. In the middle of winter, she only wore a sweater. Her hair was messy, and her hands were red from the cold. Shi Shang honked twice, but Su Shan did not look up. She opened the car door and got out. Su Shan. Su Shan looked up in shock, then quickly lowered her head and called her softly, "Sister." Shi Shang reached out and pinched her chin, forcing her to look up. Her other hand grabbed her hand that was trying to cover her face. Who did this? Su Shan had bruises at the corner of her eyes and forehead, and half of her face was swollen. I fell down myself. Su Shan avoided Shi Shang's eyes. Shi Shang sneered. You fell down yourself? You can leave a handprint on your own? Why don't you show me? Who did this? I'll ask you one last time. Su Shan was sometimes afraid of Shi Shang. Being questioned by Shi Shang so coldly, Su Shan trembled and blushed. Her eyes were red as she said a name, Zhao Xiaojiang. Shi Shang let go of Su Shan, took off his jacket and put it on her. Just tell me if you get bullied in the future. You don't have to hide it. As one of my people, you must have this awareness. I allow you to complain. Su Shan suddenly started sobbing softly, as if all the grievances she had accumulated for so long had all rushed up at this moment. Shi Shang took Su Shan to the hospital for a full body checkup. Other than her face, there were several injuries on her body. Fortunately, it was not serious and would recover after a few days of rest. On the way home, Shi Shang drove in silence. Su Shan sat in the passenger seat with her mouth pursed. Her head was almost buried under the car. How is Zhao Xiaojiang related to Zhao Quanxing? Shi Shang asked her as they passed the traffic light. Su Shan sniffed. Son. When did I start bullying you? How many times did he bully you? During Christmas. They bullied me whenever they saw me. Su Shan did not want to talk about this, but since Shi Shang asked her, she had the urge to tell her everything. The red light turned on, and Shi Shang continued to move forward without asking any more questions. The next day, Shi Shang sent Su Shan to school. Because Su Shan came from the countryside and was not very talkative, she was not popular in class. Seeing someone drive her to school, the students were curious. Some of the bolder ones asked Su Shan directly. Su Shan, who are you? My sister. Su Shan always sounded a little shy when she spoke. Her voice was soft and pleasant. Your sister is so pretty. Su Shan looked at Shi Shang, who was holding her hand, and grinned, revealing two small canine teeth. My sister is the prettiest. A group of students followed behind them, chattering all the way to the classroom. At the door of the classroom, Shi Shang suddenly asked Su Shan, which class is Zhao Xiaojiang in? Year 3, Class 7. Before Su Shan could answer, someone beside her answered, he often bullies Shan. Go to the classroom. Shi Shang pushed Su Shan into the classroom and asked the boy where Year 3, Class 7 was. The boy did not think too much and took the initiative to bring Shi Shang to Year 3, Class 7. He even pointed at a fat boy to Shi Shang. He is Zhao Xiaojiang. Everyone in his class calls him Fatty Zhao. Zhao Xiaojiang had almost turned into a ball. His seat was equivalent to two people's seats. He was currently pulling a boy's ear. A few other boys surrounded him and jeered. The boy whose ear was being pulled could only clench his teeth and did not dare to make a sound. Fatty Zhao, someone is looking for you. The boy called out to someone in the classroom. Zhao Xiaojiang looked towards the door and saw a beautiful sister that he did not know. He was a little confused. He let go of the boy and slowly walked out of the classroom. Zhao Xiaojiang's tone was very aggressive. Looking for me? Who are you? Why are you looking for me? The students nearby whispered to each other. Who is she? Su Shanshan's sister. Fatty Zhao always bullies Su Shanshan. This time he is in trouble. Fatty Zhao's family is quite rich. He should be fine, right? She drove here. I've seen that car in a magazine before. It's worth millions. And look at what she's wearing. It's all branded. The students nowadays were very familiar with these things and could recognize the brands at a glance. Speaking of which, I didn't notice before. Su Shanshan's clothes are all branded. Su Shanshan's clothes were not too bright. They were a little plain, so they did not pay much attention to it. Your dad is Zhao Quansheng? Shishang looked at the little fatty in front of him condescendingly. The corner of his mouth slowly curled into a smile. You know my dad? Zhao Xiaojiang was slightly surprised, but then he waved his hand habitually. Don't expect me to help you, even if you bribe me. Shishang's eyes narrowed. He suddenly grabbed his hand and easily threw him to the ground. While the students gasped, he gave Zhao Xiaojiang a beating. Zhao Xiaojiang screamed like a pig being slaughtered, resounding throughout the teaching building. The teacher who heard the commotion pulled away Shishang and let Zhao Xiaojiang escape from the clutches of the demon. Shishang pouted and blew. Zhao Xiaojiang, go back and tell your dad that the person who beat you is called Yan Mian. If he has the guts, come and find me. If you dare to bully Su Shanshan again, I will bankrupt your family. They divided up Su Shanshan's things, and now they dare to bully Su Shanshan. The Zhao family is really shameless. Hearing Su Shanshan's name, Zhao Xiaojiang, who was still wailing, opened his mouth and roared. You were called by that damn girl Su Shanshan? You dare to hit me. Ouch, it hurts. My dad won't let you go. He won't let Su Shanshan go. Just you wait. I'll wait. What can you do to me? Shishang flicked his bangs. With your dad's guts, you want to fight with me? Zhao Xiaojiang was young and did not understand what Shishang was saying. He kept yelling, asking the teacher to call his dad. Zhao Quansheng usually doted on his son. When he heard that his son was beaten, he put down his work and rushed over. Seeing the woman standing in a pile of radishes, Zhao Quansheng almost fell down the stairs. Asterisk please vote. Please vote. Woo woo woo. Chapter 681. The teacher invited all of them to the principal's office. He wanted to invite Su Shanshan too, but Shishang stopped him. Zhao Quansheng did not dare to object. Miss Yen, even if Zhao Quan was a bully, you can't hit him. He's still a child. The principal reprimanded Shishang. He hit Su Shanshan. Are we just going to let it go? Shishang retorted. The principal pushed up his glasses. This is a legal society. If Zhao Quan really did bully others, the school will punish him. Shishang said confidently, can punishment erase the fact that Su Shanshan was hit? I didn't beat him up. I did what he did to Su Shanshan. What's wrong with that? If you think I'm wrong, you can punish me. I've already hit him. The principal was speechless. He had seen many unreasonable parents, but this was the first time he had seen a parent who wanted the school to punish her so confidently. What's the use of punishing you? Well. Zhao Quansheng interrupted weakly. My Xiao Gang was wrong. I won't hold him responsible. Zhao Quansheng's mind was flooded with one sentence. How did this woman get involved with Su Shanshan? He already thought it was strange that Su Shan Shan suddenly appeared here. At that time, he only knew that her guardian was called Yen Mian. He did not know that this Yen Mian was the one who blocked him in the toilet. If he knew, he would not have allowed Zhao Xiaogang to bully Su Shan Shan. But now that things had come to this, it was too late to regret. The principal was confused. If Zhao Xiaogang was bullied in school before, Zhao Quansheng would make a scene. Why did he admit defeat so easily this time? Dad. Zhao Xiaogang did not understand. She hit me. Look, my face. Zhao Quansheng slapped his son on the head. You little brat, I let you study here, not bully others. Zhao Xiaogang was stunned. After a while he said, Dad, it's not you and Mom. Shut up. Zhao Quansheng pulled Zhao Xiaogang to the back and apologized to Shi Shang with a smile. Miss Yen, it's all my fault for not teaching him well. Please be magnanimous and forgive him this time since he's still a child. Don't worry, Xiaogang will never bully Shan Shan again. Shi Shang snorted. Forgive him? Then who will be responsible for Su Shan Shan's mental trauma and psychological trauma? Do you think an apology is enough? Dad, why are you so afraid of her? She beat me up like this. You have to make her apologize to me and pay for it. Zhao Xiaojiang was not convinced and shouted at the back. Zhao Quanxing wanted to find a needle and sew up Zhao Xiaojiang's mouth. You want this woman to apologize to you? Was he tired of living, or did he not want to live anymore? Zhao Quanxing glared at Zhao Xiaojiang. Miss Yen, what do you want? Return Su Shan Shan's inheritance, and let Zhao Xiaogang apologize to Su Shan Shan in front of the whole school. Zhao Chuanqing's expression changed. Zhao Xiaojiang shouted anxiously, I don't want to apologize to her. What right does she have? If he apologized in front of the whole school, where would he hide his face? Zhao Quanxing pinched Zhao Xiaojiang in exasperation. Was this the time to talk about this? The principal was dumbfounded. What the hell was this? Why did it have to do with the family property? Miss Yen, this is our family's business. You're an outsider. You have no right to interfere, right? Zhao Quanxing lacked confidence and spoke without much momentum. And we're just helping her keep it. When she's an adult, we'll return it to her. We're all family. Why would we harm her? Shi Shang sneered and unceremoniously exposed him. Why did you send Su Shan Shan back to the countryside if she's a family? Why didn't you raise her? Shan Shan was young at that time. She kept asking for her parents. We had no choice but to send her back to the countryside. Shi Shang had experienced Zhao Chuanqing's ability to make excuses. That's not important. Shi Shang smiled. What's important is that you have to return the inheritance to Su Shan Shan. I'll find a lawyer to notarize it and hire a professional to take care of it. When she's an adult, she'll be adopted. So don't say that I'm fighting with you for that little money. Zhao Quanxing was rendered speechless. Shouldn't you at least ask for Shan Shan's opinion? Zhao Quanxing continued to struggle. His company wasn't doing too well. If it weren't for Su Shan Shan's parents' company, it would have collapsed a long time ago. If he really returned the company to Su Shan Shan, his family would have gone bankrupt. You won't cry until you see the coffin. Shi Shang asked the students outside to call Su Shan Shan. Zhao Quanxing saw Su Shan Shan coming in and immediately smiled. Shan Shan. Su Shan Shan's eyes flashed with disgust. She walked to Shi Shang and stood beside him. Sister? Zhao Chuanqing's expression was stiff and awkward. Are you willing to take back your parents' property or just give it to them? Shi Shang was never one to be tactful with her words. She was always straightforward. Although it wasn't very pleasant to hear, it was easy to understand. Su Shan Shan blinked and asked innocently, Can I? Of course. Even if you don't want it, it's better to take it back and squander it than to leave it in the hands of these idiots. Principal. Was he teaching her how to squander? Will it be troublesome? Su Shan Shan didn't understand these procedures, but she knew that the family wars that were often broadcast on TV were often over property. "You're the first in line. What's so troublesome about it?" Su Shan was already so old. Even if she couldn't manage the company directly, it wouldn't be a problem to hire someone to do it. Shan, we're family." Zhao Quanxing put on the face of an elder. "It's the same for us to keep it for you. When you're of age, we'll return it to you. We can't trust outsiders with our family's property." Shan, don't you agree?" Su Shan was very resistant to Zhao Quanxing. It was their family who came to her parents' house and took away her parents' belongings. In the end, they even sold the house and drove her out. "I want to take it back." Su Shan's tone was firm. "Sister, I want to take back my parents' property." Shi Shang looked at Zhao Quanxing with a slight smile. "Did you hear that? If I don't see the share transfer agreement in 3 days, we'll meet at the crematorium. You should know whether I dare or not." Zhao Quanxing swallowed hard and had difficulty breathing. It was as if the air in the room was being sucked away. His back was already soaked in sweat. His body was cold and his limbs were numb. He couldn't move at all. In his eyes, there was only the eerie smile on Shi Shang's face. The background principal. "Miss, did you say something wrong just now? Shouldn't we meet in court? Why did you suddenly jump to the crematorium?" Little fairy. If you don't vote, we'll meet at the crematorium. 233333 cherub. Idiot. Chapter 682. Zhao Quanshang left with Zhao Xiaogang. He couldn't afford to offend this woman. Some people were inhumane when they went crazy. In Zhao Quanshang's eyes, Shi Shang was such a person. The principal looked at Shi Shang and Su Shan, dumbfounded. After being a principal for so many years, he didn't know what to say. Shi Shang glanced at the principal. "What, do you want to punish me?" The principal was speechless. "Punish my ass. The point is, what's the use of punishment?" "Ahem, since student Zhao doesn't want to pursue the matter, then let's forget about it," the principal said dryly. Shi Shang's face was cold. "I wasn't kidding when I said I would apologize to the whole school. Is Su Shan someone he can bully?" The principal was speechless. "Why did you take advantage of the situation? Don't you know when to stop?" "Miss Yen." Shi Shang waved his hand at the principal, signaling him to stop talking. He held Su Shan's hand and left the office. Zhao Quanshang didn't dare to play any tricks and quickly sent the things over. Zhao Xiaogang was probably taught a lesson when he went back. Although he was reluctant, he still apologized to Su Shan at the school meeting. Zhao Xiaogang bullied a lot of people in school. Now that he was taught a lesson, many people clapped their hands and cheered. Most people were curious about Su Shan's mysterious sister. If she could make Zhao Xiaogang bow down, then she must be more powerful than Zhao Xiaogang. The students were also a small group. After this incident, Su Shan had more people around her. No matter what the original intention was, Su Shan had her own friends in the future. Shi Shang didn't know where Shang Guanzhou was hiding. He was excited but also depressed. He was excited because there was finally someone who wasn't retarded and could play a few rounds with her. He was depressed because she still couldn't get close to her Feng Ci. He didn't know what the male and female leads were doing recently. He hadn't seen them in a long time. Was it because of what happened recently that scared them? It couldn't be, right? Ding! An email suddenly popped up on Shi Shang's computer. Shi Shang collected his thoughts and opened the email. After reading the email, Shi Shang's lips curled up slightly. A male and female lead who didn't cause trouble weren't qualified to be male and female leads. These two people were getting engaged. And their biggest turning point was when they got engaged. The female lead left on the eve of the engagement banquet and found out that the male lead was the son of her father's murderer. How could the female lead accept that she fell in love with the son of her father's murderer? So he ran away. She let the male lead face the ridicule and suspicion of so many people alone. What followed was all kinds of abuse, which made Shi Shang's heart ache. The engagement ceremony was next Wednesday. As a stepmother, Shi Shang naturally had to attend. Although she wasn't invited, who would dare to stop her from going back? The people in the mansion refused to see Shi Shang. They didn't want to see her. When Lang Yan received the news, he immediately ordered his men to capture her. In the end, they did not manage to capture her. Instead, they were beaten up so badly that their parents could not recognize them. Yen Mian, what are you trying to do? Lang Yan was exasperated. Shi Shang slowly sheathed his sword. Son, you wanted to catch me the moment I came back. Is this how you treat your elders? You deserve to die. Lang Yan's eyes were filled with hatred, as if it would overflow in the next second. Shi Shang asked back with a strong thirst for knowledge. Oh? Why do I deserve to die? Lang Yan just stared at Shi Shang without saying a word. If looks could kill, Shi Shang would have died many times over by now. The room was silent for about a minute. Lang Yan suddenly sneered. Since you want to come back, then come in. Shi Shang frowned slightly. What was the male lead thinking? Would he be so kind as to let him in? I was already prepared to kill my way in, but you just asked me to come in? My dear male lead, this is not the right way to go. Please don't break the script. I'm very confused. Lang Yan didn't stay for long. He left after saying that. Shi Shang stared at his back for a long time. Then, he jumped over the people lying on the ground and walked towards the mansion. They hadn't seen each other for a few months. The mansion had changed a lot. In the past, they only planted Chinese roses. Now, there were roses. The bright red roses were in full bloom. The fragrance of the roses floated to the tip of his nose. Shi Shang walked through the path surrounded by roses and entered the mansion. The servants in the mansion had also changed. Shi Shang walked in. These servants didn't recognize him. They looked at Shi Shang in astonishment. Someone ran to find the housekeeper. The housekeeper knew Shi Shang. Why are you panicking? That's Madam. The housekeeper scolded the panicking servant. Madam? The servant didn't understand. Young Master Yen hadn't married Miss N yet. Where did this madam come from? She's Mr. Lang's wife. Since young Master Yen let her in, you should serve her well. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, the housekeeper said and walked towards Shi Shang. The servant was stunned. Mr. Lang's wife? It took her a while to react. Everyone called Lang Yen young Master Yen. The only person who could be called Mr. Lang was young Master Yan's father, Lang Yao Tian. This was Lang Yao Tian's woman? Madam, your room has been arranged in the independent villa next door. Please follow me, the steward said in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. Shi Shang didn't have much of an opinion. It was the same wherever she stayed. The housekeeper had experienced Shi Shang's unreasonable pestering before. Seeing that she was so cooperative now, he couldn't help but feel relieved. This villa wasn't the one Lang Yen and Ying Su lived in before. It was one further away from the main mansion. It only had 2 floors. It looked a little old. The outside was full of withered creepers. Under the dark sky, the whole villa looked a little gloomy. I haven't had time to clean up these. I'll get someone to clean it up tomorrow, the housekeeper explained. Shi Shang looked away and walked up the stairs. Madam, if you need anything, you can just call me. The housekeeper opened the door for Shi Shang. This place is clean. You can stay here. I'll send 2 more people over later. No need. Shi Shang waved his hand. She had to keep an eye on them when they were under her nose. It was troublesome. The housekeeper didn't say much. He told Shi Shang about the layout of the villa and quickly left. Shi Shang went from downstairs to upstairs. This villa seemed to be for a woman to live in. It was full of feminine elegance. But the lighting wasn't very good. It felt a little gloomy. Lang Yao Tian had so many women. She didn't know who it was for. In the original owner's memory, it seemed that other than her, Lang Yao Tian's women didn't live in the main mansion. After the original owner was brought into the main mansion by Lang Yao Tian, she had always lived in the main mansion. She rarely went out. Even if she went out, she wouldn't go to such a remote place. So why did Lang Yan arrange for her to live here? She didn't think that the housekeeper had the ability to arrange a place for her. Was he trying to scare her by pretending to be a ghost? That was too tasteless. Do you think I'm so easily frightened? Idiot. Asterisk, please vote. Chapter 683. The mansion was very lively, but the villa where Shi Sheng lived was very quiet. At night, the villa looked even more gloomy. Shi Sheng, who was not afraid of anything, went to bed as soon as the sky turned dark. In the middle of the night, she vaguely heard someone crying. Shi Sheng immediately sat up and glanced around the room. Finally, she looked at the door. Woo woo. The sound was very soft. If there was a strong wind, it would not be heard. Did Lang Yan really want to scare her with ghosts? Oh my God, you're amazing. Shi Sheng got out of bed, opened the door and went out. The corridor outside was very dark. Shi Sheng followed the sound and went downstairs. She stopped at a room on the first floor. She listened for a while and confirmed that the sound was coming from inside the room. Shi Sheng looked at the door. When she came in today, there was no door. Shi Sheng turned the door. The door was not locked and opened easily. There was nothing in the room. Half of the room was separated by a metal fence. There was a weak light inside the fence, reflecting a petite and weak figure. Shi Sheng. The male lead also played this kind of game? Shi Sheng felt for the wall beside him. He found the switch and pressed it. The room suddenly lit up. The person inside the iron fence let out a low cry and curled up into a ball, shrinking into a corner against the wall. Shi Sheng stood at the door for a while. He was not in a hurry to go over. Instead, he raised his head and looked at the ceiling and the surroundings. There were surveillance cameras in all four corners of the room. Shi Sheng looked at the surveillance camera and smiled. Then, he quickly turned off the light. The room was filled with crackling sounds. Lang Yan's surveillance camera went dark in an instant. Lang Yan stood up suddenly. Turn on the switch. The person beside him turned on the switch in a hurry. After the switch was turned on, the light did not light up. They looked at each other. The mechanism was broken. Young Master Yen. Lang Yan was so angry that he slapped the person nearest to him. Didn't you say that it was foolproof? That person covered his face and lowered his head. He did not dare to speak. They said that it was foolproof only if this person was an ordinary person. But this woman did not look like an ordinary person at all. However, they did not dare to talk back. They could only endure Lang Yan's anger. Lang Yan strode out of the room. The others looked at each other and quickly followed him. Shi Sheng didn't turn on the lights until he was sure that all the mechanisms were destroyed. The lights flickered and went out slowly. The room was still dark. Shi Sheng took out his mobile phone and shone it into the iron bars in the room. The man on the other side of the iron fence held his head and shivered. His mouth made a soft whimpering sound, and he looked terrified. Shi Sheng hacked open the locked iron door and entered. He asked tentatively, "Can you?" The woman's body trembled. She had probably heard a different voice because she slowly raised her head. To be honest, Shi Sheng was frightened by her face. Some of the crisscrossing scars had already scabbed over, while others were fresh and oozing pus. It looked extremely disgusting. If Shi Sheng hadn't seen the jewelry on Chen Yu's wrist and seen it in her neighbor's photo, she definitely wouldn't have recognized Chen Yu. Chen Yu's eyes were red and swollen. But when she saw Shi Sheng clearly, her eyes suddenly blazed with passion. Mian Mian. Mian Mian. She propped herself up and kept repeating this name. Her wrinkled face was a little distorted, and tears fell uncontrollably. She reached out to Shi Sheng. Mian Mian, Mian Mian, my Mian Mian. Shi Sheng was speechless. What kind of joke was this? He didn't understand the current situation. Chen Yu had already grabbed Shi Sheng's arm. Her hand was very delicate and a little cold. She touched Shi Shang's face from his shoulder. Shi Shang instinctively avoided her hand. Mian Mian, I'm Mom. Chen Yu choked and her voice was out of tune. I'm Mom. Look at Mom. She could actually see her daughter. Chen Yu felt that she had been offended before. She could see her only daughter. She suddenly thought of something and turned around. Don't look, don't look. I look so ugly now. Shi Shang was speechless. What did this mean? Yan Mian was Chen Yu's daughter? This melodramatic drama, I'll give it full marks. Shi Shang brought Chen Yu upstairs and pasted talismans on the main door and other places to prevent Lang Yan's men from barging in. Chen Yu kept covering her face, probably afraid that Shi Shang would see her ugly appearance. Chen Yu was not called Chen Yu. Her surname was Yen, and her name was Yen Yu. She used to be classmates with Lang Yao Tian and Shang Guanzhou. From Yan Mian's appearance, even if Yen Yu wasn't a stunning beauty, she was definitely a beauty. Lang Yao Tian and Shang Guanzhou both liked her. Shang Guanzhou was already a little perverted at that time. He often dominated Yan Mian, forcing her to go to places she didn't want to go and eat things she didn't want to eat. At that time, Yen Yu liked Lang Yao Tian. Their relationship wasn't stable because of Shang Guanzhou's interference. On the eve of graduation, Shang Guanzhou asked Yen Yu out in the name of Lang Yao Tian and forced her to sleep with him. Since then, Yen Yu felt that she wasn't good enough for Lang Yao Tian. Before graduation, she found someone who liked her and married him. The normal story would have ended there. However, Shang Guanzhou, that pervert, didn't plan to let Yen Yu go. He used a few years to find Yen Yu and asked her to return to his side. Otherwise, he would kill Yen Yu's husband and Yan Mian. Yen Yu didn't want to be with someone who raped her before. However, Yen Yu couldn't watch Yan Mian and the man who liked her and was willing to marry her when he knew that she had someone else in her heart die. Therefore, she asked Shang Guanzhou to give her time to consider. She took the opportunity to secretly contact Lang Yao Tian. Probably because she didn't do it secretly enough, Shang Guanzhou found out and was furious. Lang Yao Tian brought people and rushed over. Yen Yu's husband had already died to protect Yan Mian. Lang Yao Tian and Shang Guanzhou had a conflict and both sides fought. In the end, Shang Guanzhou crazily set a fire. Lang Yao Tian risked his life to save Yen Yu and Yan Mian. However, Yan Mian's head was severely injured. Coupled with the shock, she completely lost her memory. When Shang Guanzhou went crazy, even Lang Yao Tian was a little scared. Therefore, Lang Yao Tian sent Yan Mian away and arranged a place for Yen Yu to stay. Every once in a while, someone would send Yan Mian's photo to Yen Yu. Therefore, Yen Yu always knew how her daughter looked like. After a while, Yen Yu also wanted to bring Yan Mian back. However, her health was not good at that time. She had a small illness every 3 days and a serious illness every 5 days. She didn't have the energy to take care of Yan Mian. Shang Guanzhou had been looking for her. She was also afraid that he would find her. Therefore, not bringing Yan Mian back was the best choice. Not long before Lang Yao Tian died, she was entrusted to Zhao Quansheng. A few months ago, Lang Yan's people suddenly found her and brought her here with Yan Mian as an excuse. Mom has let you down. It's all Mom's fault. Yen Yu sobbed. She had let this child down. Shi Shang had a new understanding of Shang Guanzhou's craziness. No wonder this retard couldn't let go of her. Come on, let's vote. 12/15/2016 Book Review Area Winning Prize Baby. Fengling. 12/15/2016 Book Review Area Winning Prize Baby. He Wang Sansheng. Chapter 684. Whose daughter am I? Shi Shang was more concerned about this. According to the plot of novels, she was most likely that perverted Shang Guanzhou's daughter. With such a perverted father, Shi Shang had the strength to reject her. Yen Yu sobbed, "You have nothing to do with Shang Guanzhou. You are my child." She was indeed pregnant that year, but when she was hiding from Shang Guanzhou, an accident happened and the child was miscarried. Yen Mian was only pregnant a year after she got married. It was good that she wasn't. If she was, she would have to kill her father. What grudge does Lang Yen have with you? Shang Guanjiao caught her because of her looks or because he knew that she was Yen Yu's daughter. What about Lang Yen? He had an inexplicable hatred for her, so he caught Yen Yu again. Yen Yu shrugged her shoulders. Lang Yen thinks that I caused his mother's death. Shi Shang. Very good. Another melodramatic drama. Was this plane focused on spilling dog blood? After Lang Yao Tian saved Yen Yu, her mental state wasn't very good, so Lang Yao Tian often took time to accompany her. Lang Yan's mother had heart disease. It was Chinese New Year, so his mother brought Lang Yen back to her mother's house. However, they met Lang Yao Tian's enemies on the way, and their car was knocked over. Lang Yan's mother couldn't be rescued in time, so she passed away. Lang Yen somehow knew about Yen Yu, so he always hated Yen Yu. He thought that it was because of Yen Yu that his mother passed away. When Lang Yao Tian was around, Lang Yen didn't dare to do anything. After Lang Yao Tian died and arranged a way out for Yen Yu, Lang Yen couldn't find Yen Yu. Later, he probably found out that Yen Mian was Yen Yu's daughter, so he transferred his hatred to Yen Mian. Shi Sheng didn't know what to say at all. Was Lang Yan's mother innocent? Of course she was. But was Yen Yu wrong? From a bystander's point of view, Yen Yu might be wrong, but she shouldn't be alive. Because of her, she brought disaster to another man who loved her deeply, and she brought an unfortunate childhood to her child. Because of her, she indirectly caused another woman's death. Although it was a matter of probability, she did play a part in it. This was undeniable. From Yen Yu's point of view, Yen Yu was not wrong. If she wanted to live, she needed someone to protect her. Lang Yao Tian was the only one who could go against Shang Guanjiao. There was nothing wrong with choosing him. If one wanted to live, it was impossible not to hurt others. Your way of survival is to squeeze out other people's way of survival. Everyone's hands might be stained with blood. This was the rule of this society. If you wanted to rise to the top, someone had to be eliminated. If you had a soft heart, then you would be the one who would be eliminated, and the one who would lose your life would also be you. Back then, if Lang Yao Tian had been more decisive and protected her well, none of these things would have happened. Unfortunately, there were no ifs. Therefore, if anyone was to blame for this matter, it had to be traced back to the source. It was all Lang Yao Tian's fault. He didn't protect the woman he loved. Am I very useless? Yen Yu covered her face with her fingers. She was filled with regret and pain. For so many years, she had lived in torment, but she did not want to die. She wanted to see her daughter with her own eyes. There are many useless people. You're just one of them. There's nothing to be sad about. Shi Shang's tone was still casual. Regret and sadness can't solve anything. These emotions will only bring you endless trouble and make you weaker. You'll be trapped in the dark abyss and become a puppet that others can manipulate. Mian. Yen Yu was slightly stunned. She was also a person who had studied before, so she knew what Shi Shang meant. But how old was she? How could she have such feelings? Yen Yu suddenly recalled that from just now until now, she hadn't shown any of the expressions that a family member should have when meeting. She had been rational and calm from the beginning. It was as if she was listening to a story that had nothing to do with her. She had not been by her side for so many years. She must have suffered a lot, right? Yen Yu thought about it. She immediately ignored the question above and felt sorry for her daughter's suffering. Shi Shang looked at Yen Yu and supported his chin. Then, one last question. Why did Lang Yao Tian want to marry me as his mistress? Since Lang Yao Tian liked Yen Yu, why did he want to marry Yen Mian? Was this what they meant by, if I can't have you, I can have your daughter? And Lang Yao Tian had so many women. What kind of true love was this? If Feng Ci dared to do this, she would castrate him. Yen Yu was silent for a moment. He did it to protect you. He knew that he didn't have much time left. During that time, Shang Guanjiao was very strict. That was why he brought you back to the mansion and let Lang Yen know that you had a bargaining chip. As long as you didn't say anything, Lang Yen wouldn't do anything to you. Yen Yu paused and smiled bitterly. But he didn't know that Lang Yen already knew about my existence and that you're my daughter. So, what exactly does Lang Yen want? Shi Xing asked. Lang Yao Tian wouldn't have dared to lie to Lang Yen. Yen Yu suddenly raised her head and looked at Shi Sheng. She didn't hide the ugly scar on her face. In her cloudy eyes, Shi Sheng's figure was vaguely reflected. Mian Mian, I only hope that you can live peacefully. I don't want you to be involved in these things. Shi Sheng's lips curled up coldly. He pulled open the curtains, and there were many shadows outside. Do you think we still have a way out now? Why do you think I'm here? Yen Yu was too excited to see Shi Sheng. She forgot about her current situation. When she saw the scene outside, she immediately rushed over and closed the curtains. She pressed Shi Sheng down and squatted down. Her heart was beating so fast that it felt like it was going to jump out of her chest. But it was very quiet outside. It was so quiet that she couldn't hear anything. Only her slightly heavy breathing could be heard. Yen Yu's mind was full of doubts. She carefully lifted the curtains and realized that those people were just standing outside. They didn't have any intention to attack. She grabbed Shi Sheng's hand with trembling hands. Mian Mian. After a while, she calmed down. She took off the bracelet on her wrist and put it on Shi Sheng carefully. Wear it. Someone will come and take you away. Yen Yu wasn't as weak as she looked. She was just used to pretending to be weak. Mian Mian, Mommy loves you. These things should come to an end. She was the one who provoked Shang Guanzhou. She had already suffered for a lifetime because of him. She couldn't let her daughter be tortured by him like this. Yen Yu had already thought of what to do next. However, a disdainful voice suddenly came from beside her. Why are you making it sound like you're going to die? Shi Sheng broke free from her and stood up. Those people outside can't come in. Don't think of covering for me and letting me escape. Yen Yu looked at her daughter in shock. She was completely different from the girl she saw in the photo. She was full of arrogance and confidence. She was frivolous and didn't care about anything. She was calm and rational. Was this her daughter? #hashtag today's Charlotte vote #. It's Friday, vote, vote, vote. I'll depend on you guys to get me on the list. Cherub come. Chapter 685. Only then did Yen Yu realize that Shi Sheng's words were literal. No one could come in from the outside. It was as if the villa was covered by a cover. Bullets couldn't enter, and people couldn't enter either. Shi Sheng sat at the side and summarized the messy plot. Lang Yao Tian and Shang Guanzhou both liked Yen Yu, but Yen Yu liked Lang Yao Tian. Hence, Shang Guanzhou was furious. After that, Shang Guanzhou knew that Lang Yao Tian had hidden Yen Yu. He could not find her, but he did not give up. Not long before Lang Yao Tian died, he might have found Yen Yu or Yen Mian. Hence, Lang Yao Tian brought Yen Mian back to the mansion and used a secret to prevent Lang Yen from doing anything to Yen Mian. Have you completed the side mission? Shi Sheng asked the system in his heart. The redemption of love should be referring to Yen Yu. Host, you are cheating. No. Shi Sheng frowned. It was not completed yet. Did he have to kill Shang Guanzhou? Just thinking about that pervert made Shi Sheng grit her teeth in anger. He was not afraid of perverts, but he was afraid of perverts with culture. Mian Mian, what's going on? Yen Yu stood by the window and observed for a long time before asking Shi Sheng carefully. She felt that the daughter in front of her was different from the daughter she saw in the photos. Such a mysterious ability. Was she really her daughter? It's just a defensive talisman, Shi Sheng said without looking up. You can move around freely in the mansion. Just don't go out. Defensive talisman? What was that? Was it used by Taoists? Yen Yu knew that some Taoists had real abilities. However, she felt that it was a little weird when it was related to her daughter. Mian Mian, you. Shi Shang looked up at her with a cold face. Yen Yu stopped in her tracks and looked at Shi Shang in a daze. Her face was full of scars. Under the dim light, it looked a little scary. Shi Shang cursed in a low voice. He stood up and rummaged through the cabinets nearby. In the end, he took out a medical kit from the space and pretended to take it out from the cabinet. He pulled Yen Yu to sit down rudely and treated the wounds on her face without any gentleness. In the end, he wrapped Yen Yu with gauze until she looked like a mummy. Yen Yu had mixed feelings. There were two voices in her head that were arguing non-stop. A voice said, "She's your daughter. Look, she looks so much like you when you were young. If she's not your daughter, who else could she be?" Another voice said that she was not her daughter. She did not overlap with the little girl in her memory at all. Yen Yu tried her best to think, but she had no idea what she was thinking. It was not until Shi Shang finished applying the medicine for her and saw him toss the things into the medicine box that she suddenly sobered up. How could she look at her with her old memories? Other children had their parents by their side, but what about her? "Mian Mian, you must have suffered a lot when mommy wasn't by your side, right?" Yen Yu held on to Shi Shang's hand and started crying again. Shi Shang endured it and did not retract his hand. He waited for her to vent her feelings before saying, "Rest, I'm fine." When Yen Yu was locked up by Lang Yen, her nerves were in a state of high tension. She was already exhausted. Perhaps it was because of Shi Shang. Yen Yu fell asleep as soon as she lay on the bed. Yen Yu held on to Shi Shang's hand as she slept. It was as if she was afraid that Shi Shang would disappear the moment she opened her eyes. The daughter that she had just found was just a dream. Shi Shang stared at Yen Yu's face that was covered in bandages. His gaze was a little dazed. She just sat by the bed until dawn. The morning sun shone through the thick curtains and shone in, making the dark room bright and warm. Shi Shang rubbed his sore arm and took out his phone to call Su Shan Shan. Lang Yan's engagement ceremony was just around the corner. He did not have much time to waste with Shi Sheng. He invited a Taoist priest from somewhere. The Taoist priest danced and sang outside, but in the end, he vomited blood after being repelled by the defense talisman. He was so scared that he ran away. Lang Yen tried all kinds of methods, but he could not get in. If it was allowed, Lang Yen would probably use a cannon to blast him. Lang Yen only gave up on competing with Shi Sheng on the eve of the wedding. Just like the plot, Ying Su ran away the night before the wedding. Everyone in the mansion went out to look for Ying Su. Shi Shang left with Yen Yu, and no one stopped them. Yen Yu was in a daze for the past few days. Shi Shang did not dare to bring her home, so he could only send her to the hospital. The checkup at the hospital was tedious and lengthy. Shi Shang sat outside and played with his phone out of boredom. Just as she was playing with her phone, the light in front of her suddenly dimmed. Coincidentally, the phone interface changed and the screen turned black. From the screen, Shi Shang saw a handsome face. She raised her head slightly, and her heart was beating fast. The scenery around her seemed to be stretched infinitely. Shi Shang's eyebrows curved, and he softly said the person's name, Shi Fei. Shi Fei was not surprised that Shi Shang could call his name. He put down the coat in his hand and sat next to her. "Nice to meet you, Miss Yen." "Kind of." It was indeed the first time they had officially met. "Miss Yen, I have something to talk to you about. Do you have time?" Shi Fei felt that Shi Shang's eyes were too hot, and he leaned back a little unnaturally. "No, my mother is checking. You have to wait." Shi Shang looked at the still closed door and said with a smile, "Mr. Shi, you don't mind, do you?" Shi Fei looked at his watch, frowned, got up, and picked up his coat. "See you in an hour at the coffee shop outside the hospital." Shi Sheng pouted. "You can go." "If you leave, I won't go." "Shi Fei," he turned around and stared at Shi Sheng. "Don't you want to know what I want to talk to you about?" Shi Shang looked up and smiled faintly. "It doesn't matter what you want to talk to me about. You just need to know that I want to be in a relationship with you." Shi Fei's heart suddenly beat faster. From the first time he saw her, he felt a special sense of familiarity, as if they had been together intimately before. But he knew that this was really the first time they had met. Mr. Shi, would you like to consider having another girlfriend? Miss Yen, this is the first time we've met. Shi Fei reminded her. Who wants to be someone's girlfriend the first time they meet? Were all girls nowadays so unreserved? Love at first sight. Shi Sheng blinked. Shi Fei. He definitely didn't want to admit that he almost said yes just now. He raised his hand to look at the time again and said carefully, I have something to deal with. I'll pick you up in half an hour. Can Miss Yen accept this? Shi Sheng shrugged, neither refusing nor agreeing. Asterisk little fairy. Very good, we finally meet. Ha ha ha. Cherub, if we don't meet, we're going to send razor blades. Little fairy. What razor blades? Please send tickets, the kind with all kinds of flavors. I don't refuse. Cherub. I refuse this advertisement. Chapter 686. Yen Yu needed to be hospitalized after the examination. The wound on her face was really difficult to deal with. Shi Shang went through the hospitalization procedures for her and Yen Yu lay weakly on the hospital bed. Mian Mian. Yes. Yen Yu reached out and grabbed Shi Shang's hand. She just held it without saying anything. Knock knock. The door of the ward was knocked a few times. Shi Shang turned his head and saw Shi Fei's 360-degree handsome face through the glass. I'm going out for a while. Shi Shang turned back and said to Yen Yu, I'll be back soon. Mian Mian, where are you going? Yen Yu suddenly panicked. To see your future son-in-law. Shi Shang comforted her and took out an amulet from the space and put it on her. Son-in-law? Yen Yu's eyes lit up. Mian Mian has someone she likes. That's great. Shi Shang smiled and got up to leave the ward. Shi Fei took a few people with him. After Shi Shang came out, they stood directly outside the ward. To ensure Auntie's safety, Shi Fei was afraid that Shi Shang would misunderstand and explained. Shi Shang smiled maliciously. We haven't even been together and Mr. Shi is already thinking for me? Shi Fei, he turned sideways and motioned for Shi Shang to leave first. Shi Shang and Shi Fei left the hospital and went straight to the car parked by the roadside. The driver in the car sensibly got out of the car. What do you want to talk to me about? Shi Fei suddenly came to her for business. It was impossible that he was here to confess. Although she really hoped that he was here to confess. My father and Mr. Lang have an agreement. Shi Fei landed on Shi Shang's wrist. When this locator is activated, the Shi family must ensure the safety of the person holding the locator. But at the same time, you have to give this locator to me. Locator? Shi Shang looked down at his wrist. Yen Yu gave her the bracelet. No wonder she said that someone would come looking for her. Shi Shang. But how did this have anything to do with the Shi family? What kind of messed up relationship was this? Shi Shang took off the locator and handed it to Shi Fei. Shi Fei seemed a little surprised and didn't take it for a long time. What? Didn't you want this? Shi Shang looked at him strangely. You're not going to ask anything else? She didn't look like someone who was easy to talk to. Why would she give it to him just like that? Because you wanted it, so I gave it to you. Shi Shang placed the bracelet in his hand and slid his fingertips across the back of his hand. Even if you want me, I can give it to you. The bracelet still had her warmth. Shi Fei's heart was full of complicated emotions. He squeezed the bracelet tightly. I will be responsible for Miss Yan's safety. Shi Shang raised his eyebrows at Shi Fei. Responsible for her for the rest of her life? Why did this sound so weird? The Shi family will be responsible for Miss Yan's safety for the rest of her life. But I want you to be responsible for me for the rest of my life. Miss Yan, I have a fiancé. Shi Shang. You must be joking. How could my Feng Si have a fiancé? Shi Fei nodded at Shi Shang and got out of the car. Shi Shang sat in the car in a daze for a long time. Wasn't she going to be a mistress? No. I don't want it. Let's die together. Host, don't be so extreme. He lied to you. Really? According to the data, Shi Fei did not have a fiancé. It did not dare to add a fiancé setting for him. If the host made a fuss, it would not be able to survive. Shi Shang pushed the door open and got out. Shi Fei was already gone. Shi Shang. Why did you run so fast? I'm not going to eat you. Oh, I didn't ask for his contact information. Shi Shang turned his head and saw the driver about to get into the car. She immediately rushed over. The driver was startled. Miss Yen. What are you doing? He was just a driver. Give me your President Xi's contact information. Shi Shang reached out to the driver aggressively as if he was going to beat him up the next second. Miss Yen. I don't have President Xi's contact information. Bullshit. You're just a driver. How could you not have his boss's contact information? Who are you trying to fool? Miss Yen, please be civilized. Even if you're bullshit, I really don't have it. Usually, President Xi doesn't take this car. The driver wanted to cry but had no tears. Even if he did, it was his subordinates who contacted him. How could he have President Xi's contact information? Why are you so useless? Shi Shang glanced at the driver with disdain. Driver? Is he blaming me for being useless? Shi Fei sat in a car not far away and watched the figure talking to the driver in the distance. He did not withdraw his gaze until she turned and entered the hospital. Boss, she gave it to you so easily. This was not scientific. From the information they collected, this woman did not seem to be a person who was easy to talk to. Yes. Shi Fei handed the thing to the person next to him. The person took it with some joy. As long as the last part of the power is taken back, those people will have to depend on you for their lives. I don't know what the old man is thinking. He just gave such an important thing to someone else. Someone in the front complained. If it weren't for these twists and turns, we would have finished the integration long ago. Why did we have to come all the way back to China? Lang Yao Tian saved him. Shi Fei said lightly. The two looked at each other and tactfully did not ask more. Boss, are we going back immediately? You take the thing back. Shi Fei lowered his head. You two are fully responsible for everything. The two were stunned. Boss. As long as they took the thing back, they could unify the foreign underground forces and become the real king of the underground kingdom. They had been preparing for so long for this last moment. How could their boss drop the ball at this time? When Shi Shang returned to the ward, those people were still standing outside the door. Shi Shang pushed the door open and went in, then retreated a moment later. Buddy. The bodyguard standing upright. Who are you calling buddy? Hey. Shi Shang waved his hand in front of one of them. Let me ask you something. What if I call him? The bodyguard immediately bowed and said, Miss Yen, please ask. Except for President Xi, we will tell you everything we know. Shi Shang. I want to ask Shi Fei. Damn you. Is Shi Fei a panda? You guys have so many layers of security here, as if you're guarding against thieves? I'm so angry. Shi Shang's eyes turned and he quickly asked, What's your name? Gao Zheng. How old are you? 32. Are you married? No. Do you have someone you like? No. What's Shi Fei's phone number? Shi Shang stared at the bodyguard. Why didn't you say anything? How did you get it so quickly? The bodyguard who had been trained said seriously, Miss Yen, except for President Xi, you can ask anything else. But I just want to ask him. Why would she ask anything else? The bodyguard bowed slightly. I'm sorry, Miss Yen, but we can't disclose President Xi's information. Shi Shang. ***. Please vote. Chapter 687. After Shi Shang settled Yen Yu down, he started another round of cracking down on prostitution and illegal activities. This time, it was the Green Dragon clan that suffered. Leng Yen was looking for Ing Su everywhere. He was caught off guard the first 2 times. The first time was a batch of firearms. They didn't plan to make a deal. After all, the previous incident was still ongoing. If they made a move now, it would undoubtedly be asking for trouble. However, the people in the Green Dragon clan were busy looking for Ing Su. Their subordinates wanted to take the opportunity to make a deal. In the end, they were caught by the police. The second time was a batch of smuggled goods. This batch of goods was ordered before and couldn't be cancelled. Their people were already very careful, but in the end, they still failed. When Lang Yen came to his senses, he immediately stopped all activities in the Green Dragon clan. Those that should be closed were closed. Compared to the Black Tiger clan, the Green Dragon clan had the male lead's protection, so they were lucky. The police wouldn't do anything without evidence. Therefore, when the Green Dragon clan didn't do anything, Shishang couldn't do anything to them. Miss Yen, there's a package for you. Shishang looked at the bodyguards. Since that day, these people stayed by Shishang's side, saying that they were there to ensure her safety. Shishang took the package and saw the flamboyant words on it. The corner of his mouth twitched. Shang Guanzhou, that pervert, appeared again. Shishang opened the package. There was nothing strange inside, just a mobile phone. He swiped the screen and stopped at the message editing interface. There was a message that had been sent. Baby, long time no see. I miss you. The bodyguard silently glanced at the screen, then quickly looked away. When Shishang threw the phone away and went into the house, the bodyguard immediately took out the phone and reported to his superior. I saw someone sending a flirtatious message to Miss Yen. Should I tell President Shi? Click. The bodyguard immediately put the phone back into his pocket. He saw Shishang come out of the room with a sword in his hand. It was the sword that they had seen in the video. The message just now was a flirtatious message, so why did Miss Yen have a sword? Su Shan Shan. Hey. Su Shan Shan popped her head out of the room. Sister? Shishang ordered her. Don't go out. Su Shan Shan nodded obediently. Okay, do you want to go out? When are you coming back? I recently learned a new dish, and I want to cook it for my sister. I'll be back soon. Then I'll wait for my sister to come back for dinner. Yes. Shishang walked out with his sword in hand. The bodyguard. No, Miss Yen, if you go out like this, you will be treated as a murderer. Shishang had just left when he received a call from Yen Yu's caregiver, saying that Yen Yu was missing. When did it disappear? He was still there when I went out to get food, but he was gone when I came back. The nurse was about to cry. However, Shishang remained calm. Are there any signs of damage to the room? No, the doors are all fine. The nurse's side was a little noisy, and her voice was intermittent. The people at the hospital didn't see her either. I've asked everywhere. Miss Yen, do you want to call the police? Look around the hospital. The police station won't accept cases within 24 hours. Yes. I'll look for it again. Shishang hung up the phone with a gloomy face. Yen Yu followed him out of her own accord. The amulet she gave her could protect her as long as she didn't do it willingly. No matter how powerful she was, she couldn't stop her from doing it willingly. Looking for trouble, annoying. Miss Yen. The bodyguard chased after her. I just received news that someone knocked out our people and took Miss Yen away. Got it. Shishang turned back to the door of the room, checked it carefully, and told Su Shan Shan not to open the door no matter who it was. Only then did he leave. She drove out of the neighborhood, and the bodyguard followed from behind. When they were out of the neighborhood, the bodyguard's car suddenly stopped, and he got out and ran to another car. The car windows slowly rolled down, and Shi Fei's figure appeared in the bodyguard's line of sight. President Shi, Miss Yen looks a little strange. Yes. Shi Fei nodded slightly. Follow her. Several cars quietly followed behind Shishang's car. She first circled around the city, and then went straight to the suburbs. The suburbs were being developed, and there were construction sites everywhere. Shishang's car stopped in front of a construction site that was not under construction. She leaned over and looked at the outline of the building, opened the door, and got out. Shi Shang was about to go in when she saw a few cars approaching from behind. Of course, she knew the bodyguard's car, but there were 2 cars behind that she had never seen before. The car doors opened one by one, and Shi Fei came out. He quickly walked to Shi Sheng. "What are you doing here?" Shi Sheng frowned slightly. Shi Fei said, "I said I would guarantee your safety, and your family is among them." He was near her neighborhood before. When he heard the bodyguard say that someone had sent her an ambiguous message, he immediately asked someone to drive to the gate of her neighborhood. Shi Fei didn't believe in love at first sight, past life, or present life. But he couldn't forget her figure. She was like an all-pervasive virus, nibbling away at his body and mind inch by inch. If someone had told him before he returned to China that he might care so much about a woman he had only met once, he would have dragged that person out to feed the sharks. Shi Shang looked at the people behind him. "Wait for me here. What if that lunatic Shang Guanzhou hurt him when he went crazy?" Shi Fei changed the subject. "Do you know who did it?" "I guessed. My people will be here soon. Wait a little longer." Ding! There was a text message on the phone sent by Shang Guanzhou. It was a multimedia message. Yan Yu stood on the edge, holding on to the frame next to her. The bandage on her face had been removed, and some new flesh had grown out, forming a sharp contrast with the old scars. There was a sentence below the picture. "Baby, come up alone." Shi Shang didn't want Shi Fei to take the risk, so he asked him to wait outside. However, Shi Fei walked into the construction site without any explanation. "Shi Shang, you've grown a temper." The people behind Shi Fei naturally had to follow, so a large group of people climbed up the unfinished building. Halfway up, Shi Sheng found that something was wrong with Shi Fei. He grabbed the handrail next to him and didn't dare to look down. After a while, he took a step forward. "Are you okay?" Shi Shang turned back. "I told you not to come up." "President Xi, why don't we go up?" the bodyguard behind suggested. Shi Fei didn't say anything and continued to walk up while holding on to the handrail. "Hold on to me." Shi Shang reached out to Shi Fei. Shi Fei hesitated for a moment and reached out to hold her hand. Shi Shang took a few steps back and held his waist with one hand, protecting him as he walked up. "So why did you follow me?" Shi Fei's body stiffened. Who the hell knows why? He thought so at that time, so he did it. Asterisk, please vote. Chapter 688. The person next to him was petite and pitiful, but she gave him a sense of security that he had never felt before. "Don't look down, idiot." Shi Shang reached out and held his face, making him look up. "If we fall down, we'll die together." "Why do you want to die with me?" The bodyguards. "Miss Yen, you dare to call President Xi an idiot. And you shouldn't use the word die with love like that, Miss Yen." However, Shi Fei didn't say anything, as if he didn't hear Shi Shang scolding him. He followed Shi Shang's steps and stepped up. "Be careful." Some of these passages were very short. With Shi Fei's height, he had to bend over. Shi Shang helped him protect his head. "We're almost there, hold on." The group of bodyguards behind him were in a mess. "Hey, Miss Yen, you're not right. Please remember that you're a girl. Can you be a little more delicate? President Xi, what's with your expression of acceptance? Where's your domineering temperament? Take it out." At the last floor, Shi Fei exhaled heavily. Shi Shang had already seen Shang Guanzhou, but he didn't see Yan Yu. There were still people around Shang Guanzhou. As soon as they came up, these people surrounded them and stared at the bodyguards. Shang Guanzhou walked over with a smile on his face. "Baby, you're naughty. We agreed that only you can come up." "It's none of your business." Shi Shang blurted out. "Yen, where's my mother?" "Baby, don't worry, let's deal with the unimportant people first." Shang Guanzhou's eyes fell on Shi Fei. His expression was a little playful. "Mr. Xi, we meet again." Last time in his territory, he had to hold it in, but this time, Shi Fei had already adjusted his state. "Shang Guanzhou, Yan Mian is under the protection of the Shi family. You still have a chance to escape. Shang Guanjiu's expression was distorted for a moment, then he smiled and praised Shi Shang. His eyes were filled with a murderous aura. Baby, you're amazing. You even hooked up with the leader of Mo clan. Shi Shang looked at Shi Fei with some surprise. He was the leader of Mo clan? Mahist sect was not an underground power within the country. It was a very famous underground power overseas. In the beginning, this power was not called Mahist sect. It was only after a Chinese person became the leader that they changed their name to Mahist sect. After a brief moment of surprise, Shi Shang looked at Shangguan Jiu calmly. That only proves that you're not as good as him. Baby. Shangguan Jiu raised his voice. Do you want to see your mother die like this? You can try, Shi Shang said indifferently. Very good. Shangguan Jiu nodded, his tone ferocious. If that's the case, then I'll let him die in front of you today. Let's see how you can seduce him then. Shi Shang was speechless. What's wrong with seducing my man? Could it be that she had to watch him be in love with someone else? Shi Shang never felt that seducing her man was wrong. He was precious because he was Feng Ci. If he wasn't Feng Ci, why would she seduce him? Shi Fei took a step forward and blocked Shi Shang's figure. Shangguan Jiu, you think too highly of yourself. Shi Fei, don't forget, this is China, not your Mahist sect's territory. Shangguan Jiu made a gesture. The people surrounding them immediately took out their guns and fired without hesitation. What came out were not bullets, but mist. The mist floated down from the air, unavoidable, and a strange smell floated in the air. Shi Shang reacted the fastest. He reached out and pulled Shi Fei to the side. With a wave of his iron sword, the falling mist was immediately parted and fell to the side. She slashed the people blocking the way and pulled Shi Fei to a clean place on the side. The people behind continued to shoot, and the mist continued to float down from the air. Baby, don't struggle. I specially designed this for you. Shangguan Jiu's voice came from behind, with a sense of pride and confidence. King retard. Shi Shang cursed, turned around and started to slash. Shi Fei's skills were not bad, but compared to Shi Shang's record of taking down a few people with a swing of his sword, he was a little inferior. Kocha, the wooden planks under his feet suddenly broke, revealing the sky below. A wooden plank broke, and the ones next to it also broke. The place where Shi Fei could stand was very narrow, and the scene below made him a little dizzy. Shi Shang jumped to his side in a few steps, reached out to support him, and took him to the concrete floor that had been paved. Stepping on solid ground, Shi Fei immediately recovered. I told you not to come, but I still have to protect you. Shi Shang complained, my protection fee is very expensive. If it were someone else, they would definitely fly into a rage out of humiliation or be too ashamed to show their face. But she said it to him. Shi Fei only felt a little funny. She looked cute when she complained. Shi Fei felt that his focus was not right. They're coming. Shi Fei immediately changed the topic and reminded Shi Shang. Shi Shang waved his iron sword, and the sword aura brought up the paving planks and hit the people rushing over. Ah! Someone stepped on air and fell directly from above. Shi Shang finished dealing with these small fries, but did not find Shangguan Jiu when he turned around. Over there. Shi Fei pointed in a direction, and Shangguan Jiu's figure was quickly climbing up the half-built high ground. Shi Shang chased after him for a few steps, and the blocked line of sight widened. Yan Yu was hanging above, and her feet could only step on the ground. Shangguan Jiu had already climbed up and stood at the place where the rope was tied. Shi Shang and Shi Fei chased after him. Mian Mian. Yan Yu screamed and kept shaking her head. What was she doing here? Why did she come? Shangguan Jiu smiled a little ferociously. Baby, I just need to cut her gently, and she will fall. Do you want to watch her die like this? Chapter 689. Why didn't he save her? Shi Shang thought for a while. Maybe it was because he knew that even if he saved her, she wouldn't live long. It was Yen Mian who kept Yen Yu alive. When she knew that she was doing well, she would choose death. She would be destroyed together with the source of countless tragedies. Shi Shang returned to the top. Shi Fei held the railing on the edge, his long eyelashes covering the emotions in his eyes. Anyone who saw a person flying on a sword in the modern world would be shocked. The two stood on the top, the biting cold wind blowing past their faces. Shi Shang gathered his clothes. Well, let's go down first? Shi Fei's hand holding the railing tightened. He slowly took a step back, his body suddenly staggered and fell into the void. Shi Shang's eyes widened. He rushed over in a few steps, grabbed his arm, and pulled him back. What are you doing? Even if he was scared, he didn't have to jump down. My legs are weak. Shi Fei's face was a little pale. Shi Shang, so he stood still just now because he was afraid of heights? Damn it. I was worried for nothing. Shi Fei was born with a fear of heights. He couldn't go to particularly high places since he was young. Once he went up, he couldn't walk. This was the so-called, when God opened a window, he would definitely close a door. Shi Shang took him down until he stepped on solid ground. Shi Fei relaxed. Why did he go up like a retard before? He glanced at Shi Shang silently. I'd better stay away from this woman in the future. Are you feeling better? Shi Shang asked with concern. Do you want to go to the hospital? Shi Fei closed his eyes and shook his head slightly. Shi Shang made sure that he was okay before he turned to look at the bodies of Shang Guanzhou and Yen Yu. The two fell on a standing steel bar and were pierced through. They definitely wouldn't survive like this. After Shi Shang checked, he went to find Shi Fei, but he disappeared again. What the hell, did she look like a scourge? How could he avoid her like this? Good job, Feng Ci. He was really a troublemaker. Shi Shang cleaned up Yen Yu's body and left the construction site. As for the others, Shi Fei's people would clean them up. Shi Shang held a simple funeral for Yen Yu. After the funeral, Shi Shang finally had time to flirt with Shi Fei. With the information revealed by Shang Guanzhou, it was much easier for her to investigate. The head of the Mo clan, Shi Fei. Bang bang bang. Yen Mian, come out. Shi Shang had no choice but to put down his phone and wave at Su Shan Shan, who popped her head out, signaling her to go back to her room. Su Shan Shan stuck out her tongue and retracted her head. Shi Shang opened the door. Son, why are you looking for your mother? Yen Mian, did you do those things? The anger in Lang Yan's eyes was almost overflowing. What's the matter? Shi Shang was confused. She hadn't done anything recently. Don't accuse me, okay? Lang Yan roared. Stop pretending, Yen Mian. Are you so cruel that you'll only be satisfied when the Green Dragon clan is destroyed? No, son, be reasonable. You didn't say anything, how would I know if I did it? After all, she had done a lot of things. Lang Yan was probably going crazy. Ever since she escaped from death, his life had not been easy. Robbing the Green Dragon clan's business and maliciously acquiring shares. You didn't do these things? Shi Shang blinked. She hadn't done these two things recently. Son, thank you for thinking so highly of me, but I really didn't do these things. Stepmother Shang spread her hands. But I was the one who did it when you were chased by the police. Lang Yan's eyes widened. A raging fire was burning in his eyes. He had been investigating that incident and thought there was a mole. In the end, it was her. You have people in the Green Dragon clan? Lang Yan couldn't think of anything else. Did that old man give you those things? You've contacted them, haven't you? No, I've given them away. That thing should be able to mobilize some forces, and it was from abroad. Lang Yan had been looking for it, so it would be of great help. It would be great to give it to his wife. Give it away. Lang Yan's handsome face was red with anger. He gritted his teeth and asked, Who did you give it to? Why do you care who I gave it to? Shi Shang snorted. Do you want to take it back? Comparing the Green Dragon clan to the Black clan, there was no comparison at all. The Black clan was an ancient force with a long history. Who would dare to provoke them? The Green Dragon clan only rose to prominence when the country was in trouble. It didn't even have 100 years of history. Yen Mian, just you wait. Shi Shang's eyes were full of smiles. Just you wait. She slammed the door shut, shutting Lang Yan's angry face outside. Sister. Su Shan leaned against the door and whispered, "That man is so fierce." "Then you have to be fiercer than him." Su Shan's mouth was wide open. "Huh. The last way to deal with the bad guys is violence." Shi Shang began to educate Su Shan. "When you're strong enough to be unbeatable, no one will dare to provoke you. Everyone will have to listen to you. You're the master." Su Shan nodded, not fully understanding. "If you keep teaching like this, something will happen sooner or later." After dinner, Su Shan came out after washing the dishes. She saw Shi Shang sitting on the balcony in a daze with his phone in his hand. She curiously went over. "Sister, what are you doing?" Shi Shang threw his phone away and held his face sadly. "My wife is ignoring me." "Wife?" Su Shan scratched her head. "Shouldn't sister be looking for a boyfriend? Why is it a wife?" Su Shan suddenly panicked. Sister, you like girls?" Shi Shang looked at Su Shan strangely. "What?" Su Shan covered her mouth. Speak human." Su Shan's eyes widened. She let go of her hand and quickly said, "Sister, you like girls?" After that, she covered her mouth and pressed her body against the glass door behind her. She was afraid that Shi Shang would beat her up. Shi Shang. When did she show that she liked girls? Shi Shang recalled their conversation just now and the corner of his mouth twitched. She took the blame. "I like men." Shi Shang turned his head. Su Shan blinked her big watery eyes and asked doubtfully, "Then, why did sister say, wife?" "I like." Su Shan. "Well, no matter how many reasons there were, they couldn't beat the words I like. The person sister likes must be very powerful." Su Shan flattered as usual. "Only someone like that is worthy of sister." Shi Shang sneered and thought of Shi Fei's stupid look that day. How was he powerful? He was a retard. "Sister, what are you laughing at? Did she say something wrong?" "I'm laughing at my wife for being a retard." Shi Shang continued to hold his face and pretend to be sad. He changed the topic. "Have you finished your homework?" "I'm done." Su Shan nodded obediently. She was silent for a while and asked carefully, "Sister, can I go back to Huangshan village for the new year?" #hashtag begging for tofu-flavored votes today # take advantage of tofu, vote. Come on. Fake it. Have a good weekend. Chapter 690. With the arrival of the Spring Festival, there was a festive atmosphere everywhere. People from all over the country were buying New Year's goods. At this time, all the shops were the most popular. Shi Shang held Su Shan's hand as they walked in the crowded shopping mall. "Sister, we don't have to come here to buy. These things are so expensive." Su Shan gently pulled on Shi Shang's sleeve. "Yeah, you can do whatever you want with money." Shi Shang replied softly, "It's convenient to buy here, it's free." Su Shan, didn't they already drive? And behind them? Su Shan turned her head and looked at the bodyguards not far away. Aren't these people the labor force? Su Shan definitely couldn't persuade Shi Shang, so she could only buy in the mall. She tried her best to pick something practical. After all, to the people in the countryside, a quilt was more practical than a decoration worth millions. Shi Shang didn't interfere at all. After Su Shan made her choice, she was only responsible for paying the bill. Occasionally, Su Shan would ask her if she liked it, and she would only reply with a sentence or two. Sister? Su Shan stood a little ahead and called out to Shi Shang, who was standing in front of a shop without any movement. Shi Shang waved at her. Su Shan had no choice but to return. It was a very unique shop with a dark signboard. In this bright shopping mall, it looked particularly out of place. Shi Shang held Su Shan's hand as they entered the shop. The interior was decorated in the same style as the outside. It was black, and there were only dim lights on the walls, presenting the small shop to the customers. There were a few shelves in the shop, on which there were some carved items and some strange things. "We're not open today." A lazy voice came from behind the counter. In this dark space, it seemed even more eerie. Su Shan was so scared that she grabbed Shi Shang's hand tightly. "What is this place? Why is there such a strange shop in a shopping mall?" Shi Shang ignored the voice and walked around the shop, looking at the sculptures on the shelves. These sculptures were obviously made by the same person, and each one was lifelike. Shi Shang walked to the counter. "Help me carve something." I said, "We're not open today." The other party waved lazily. "Come back another day." Click. The other party pulled the book off her face and stared at Shi Shang angrily. "You?" His gaze fell on the counter, and stared at the things on the counter for a few seconds. He suddenly stood up and pulled the things on the counter to his side. "What do you want to carve? Take this as your reward." Su Shan. "Didn't you say you were closed?" Shi Shang came out of the shop and continued shopping with Su Shan. After that, they went for dinner. Shan 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 Shan. As previously, Shi Shang had only brought Su Shan to eat Chinese food and had never brought her to eat Western food. Hence, Su Shan was not used to using knives and forks. She was even more clumsy when cutting the beef. "It smells so good. I really want to eat it." But she can't. Just as Su Shan was struggling, a plate of cut steak appeared in front of her, and her plate was taken away. "Go home after eating, we have to wake up early tomorrow." Shi Shang did not even lift her head as she continued to cut the beef that was slightly deformed by Su Shan and calmly stuffed it into her mouth. "Okay." Su Shan forked a small piece of beef into her mouth and chewed with her eyes closed. "It's delicious. I want to learn. I want to make it for my sister." The bodyguards in the distance. "Chairman Shi, you don't want a wife like this. What a waste. She can fight, she can resist, and she knows how to love people. Why can't they meet such a good wife?" Su Shan was satisfied with her meal. She rubbed her belly and walked out of the restaurant with Shi Shang. When she passed by the bodyguards, she stuck her tongue out mischievously. "The bodyguards. What's the meaning of this? Is she mocking them for not having anyone to love them?" Shi Shang met the male and female lead as soon as he walked out of the restaurant. The two of them were also surrounded by people. Lang Yen grabbed Ying Su's hand. Ying Su's face was full of grief and anger. She kept struggling, but she couldn't break free from Lang Yen. "This is the beginning of the torture." Yen Mian. Lang Yen had already seen Shi Shang. He gritted his teeth and called out. He could see this woman everywhere. Why was she still haunting him? "Son." Stepmother Shang called out briskly, "Happy New Year." Lang Yan's breath was stuck in his chest. She actually said Happy New Year to him? Hiss. Lang Yan suddenly sucked in a breath of cold air. Ying Su took advantage of the time when he was talking to Shi Shang to bite him. She broke free from his grip and ran to the side of the road. Lang Yan didn't have time to say anything to Shi Shang and quickly chased after her. Screech. A loud braking sound came from the road. A speeding car directly hit Ying Su, who was crossing the road. Her body was thrown from high up in the air and smashed into the tailgate of the car in front of her. She rolled onto the road. If the car behind didn't stop in time, she would have been run over. Shi Shang's eyes widened. This has nothing to do with her. It has nothing to do with me. So the female lead used her life to prove to us not to cross the road. Accidents will happen. Fortunately, Lang Yen was not the male lead of a tragic novel. He didn't hug the female lead and shout for her not to die. He quickly sent the female lead to the hospital for emergency treatment. He heard that her life was not in danger, but her legs were crippled. When Shi Shang heard the news, he was already preparing to board the plane at the airport. The original owner's legs were also crippled, but now it was the female lead's turn. Huangshan village was as desolate as ever. Shi Shang brought Su Shan back. The villagers were very surprised. They didn't expect Su Shan to come back to visit them during the new year. Su Shan talked to the villagers. Shi Shang stood alone in the distance. The villagers didn't speak to her, so no one came forward. But they all knew deep down that she was a good person. If Shi Shang knew what they were thinking, he would definitely mock them back. She was a good person? She never was. She did the side quest because she liked Su Shan. If she didn't like her, she would never do it. Su Shan didn't stay in Huangshan village for long. It would be New Year's Eve in a few days. She couldn't let Shi Shang spend New Year's with her here. There was a cold snap on the way back. The plane was delayed. It was already New Year's Eve when they arrived in a city. The streets were deserted. Only the fireworks in the sky made the world bustling and noisy. "Sister, it's so good to be able to spend New Year's with you." Su Shan leaned on the car window and looked at the fireworks outside gratefully. Shi Shang didn't respond. She looked at the time. It was too late. Forget it. Next time. When they reached home, the fireworks outside suddenly increased. The clock pointed to 12 o'clock. Asterisk, please vote. Chapter 691. After washing up, Shi Shang lay on the bed and sent a Happy New Year to the number that had never replied to her before. She threw her phone away and curled up under the blanket. Why is it so tiring to chase after Feng Ci? Every time, I can't take it anymore. But what can I do if I really like him? I really want to tie him to my side forever. The host's thoughts are so dangerous. Ding! Just as Shi Shang was about to fall asleep, a text message notification suddenly rang. Shi Shang reached for her phone and opened it, but it was a spam message. She returned to the page, but other than the message she sent, there was no reply. Shi Shang sighed and was about to turn off her phone when suddenly, there was a whoosh and 4 words appeared on the blank screen. Shi Shang blinked, turned back, and clicked on it again. After confirming that it was not a random channel, she immediately called him back. However, no one answered the phone. On the other side, Shi Fei looked at the vibrating phone and reached out his hand for a long time without letting it fall. This feeling came too abruptly, so abrupt that he was caught off guard. He retracted his hand and slumped into the chair. The flickering lights outside reflected on his expressionless face. There was a hint of hesitation in his indifference. The light from the phone dimmed and the fireworks outside stopped, plunging the room into darkness. Only the coldness and loneliness of the room remained. On the first day of the new year, there were still very few people on the streets. Shi Shang stood on the side of the street, wrapped in thick clothes. When the cold wind blew, it was so cool that she wanted to kill someone. A black sports car whizzed past her and drove back a moment later. The car window rolled down and a gust of warm air spilled out. The other party handed a bag to Shi Shang from the passenger seat. "We're done with the money and goods." Shi Shang took the bag, opened it and took out a small box inside. "I'll leave when I'm sure there's no problem." The other party waved his hand and rolled up the car window. The car instantly glided out and disappeared around the corner in the blink of an eye. Shi Shang took the box back and fiddled with it for a long time. Su Shan called her several times, but she didn't come out. Shi Shang's room was a mess, filled with tiny parts. She sat on the floor and played with a watch in her hand. It was a very retro watch. Even if it was placed in ancient times, it wouldn't stand out. The dial was a sparkling and translucent flower. Its petals were spread out, layer upon layer. It was lifelike and covered the entire dial. The center of the flower was connected to the needle. When the needle moved, it seemed to move the petals below it. Shi Sheng finished loading the last part. Shi Sheng looked at his watch and sighed. It was still not enough. The spirit chi in this plane wasn't good enough, so the formation drawn didn't have the expected effect. When Su Shan called him for the nth time, Shi Sheng put the things away and opened the door to leave. At the hospital, Ing Su leaned against the bed and looked at Lang Yen coldly. Lang Yen stood by the bed and his expression was not good either. He took a deep breath and softened his tone. "Can't we talk about it?" Poppy's eyes suddenly turned red, but he bit his lip, not allowing his tears to fall. "What is there to talk about?" Lang Yen sat beside her and held her shoulders. "What happened to you? Why did you run away on the day of the engagement? Do you know how embarrassing it was for me?" Ing Su looked at him and said word by word, "Lang Yen, it's impossible between us." "Why?" Lang Yen tightened his grip and raised his voice. "You have to give me a reason. I don't love you anymore, okay?" Ing Su also shouted. She couldn't hold back her tears and they poured out from her eyes. "If you don't like me, then why are you crying?" Lang Yen pinched Ing Su's chin and kissed her directly. Ing Su could only resist with sobs. Slap. Crash. Lang Yen tilted his head slightly. Ing Su's hand stopped in mid-air. Blood poured out from the back of her hand and dripped on the pure white blanket. The 4 bottle next to her shattered on the ground. "Lang Yen, it's over." Ing Su suppressed the sadness in her heart and tried to say this sentence heartlessly. What right did she have to be with him? To be with the son of her father's murderer? Okay. Lang Yen nodded and suddenly got up to leave. Ing Su covered her face. Her suppressed cries echoed in the ward. She thought that this would make Lang Yen give up, but she didn't expect that Lang Yen didn't intend to let her go at all. When she was discharged from the hospital, Lang Yan's people directly brought her to the mansion. She was someone who couldn't even walk. How could she be a match for these people? Lang Yen came to see her almost every day, but every time he touched her, she felt humiliated but her body couldn't resist him. After a period of time, when she recovered from her injuries, Lang Yen went even further. He didn't care about her wishes and directly used force. During that time, Ing Su even wanted to kill Lang Yen. However, to prevent her from escaping, Lang Yen kept all the weapons in the room. Ing Su's heart was tormented. On one side was the person she loved, on the other was a blood feud. How should she choose? No, she didn't want to choose either. She only wanted to escape now. She was a cripple, what choice did she have? Ing Su felt someone enter the room. Lang Yen wouldn't come at this time, so it must be the servant who delivered the food. I don't want to eat. Ing Su's voice was hoarse. The footsteps behind her were getting closer and closer. Ing Su's body couldn't move, but she still had other abilities. These footsteps. Ling Yi. Ing Su turned her head and saw a familiar face. Ing Su. Ling Yi took a few steps forward and squatted beside her, his face full of heartache. Are you okay? She wasn't okay, but what could she do even if she said it? Why are you here? It's dangerous here. I'm here to take you away. Ling Yi held Ing Su's hand. Ing Su, come with me. You're not happy here. Whether you agree or not, I'm going to take you away. I can't watch Lang Yen treat you like this. Ling Yi's tone was firm. If Lang Yen treated her well, he wouldn't say anything. But look at what Lang Yen had done. He tortured the girl he liked to this extent. Ling Yi, you're no match for Lang Yen. Ing Su shook her head. Now that the Black Tiger clan was gone, the Green Dragon clan was the only clan in power. Even if they escaped, where could they go? If they were caught by Lang Yen, Ling Yi would lose his life. She couldn't watch Ling Yi die because of her. I'm not, but someone is. Ling Yi patted Ing Su's hand. Ing Su, someone wants to deal with the Green Dragon clan. When the time comes, I'll take advantage of the chaos to take you away. Wait for my news. Ling Yi got up and kissed Ing Su's forehead. Su, I love you. Perhaps he was afraid of hearing an answer he didn't want to hear, so Ling Yi didn't wait for Su's reply and quickly left the room. Su raised her hand to touch her forehead in a daze. She could still feel the warmth of Ling Yi's lips. Chapter 692. Ling Yi left the mansion, crossed a few streets, and entered a hotel. He took the elevator to the presidential suite on the top floor. The people outside the door searched him before letting him in. In the room, a tall man stood in front of the window, looking indifferently at the traffic and high-rise buildings below. Isolated from the noise below, the whole room was silent. Ling Yi walked 2 meters behind Shi Fei. As soon as he stood still, he heard a voice in front of him. "Mr. Ling, have you thought about it?" "Yes." Ling Yi nodded. Before he went to see Su, he might have been a little hesitant, but after seeing Su, he would not hesitate anymore. Lang Yen was not sincere to her at all. Someone came forward, and Ling Yi took out a USB flash drive from the inside of his clothes. It stored the strongholds and main contacts of the Green Dragon clan in various cities, as well as some industries. It took a long time for the Black Tiger clan to collect it, but before they could deal with the Green Dragon clan, they were wiped out by the police. He escaped with this thing, but he did not expect to be found by this man. "May I ask, Mr. Shi, why do you want to deal with the Green Dragon clan?" Mo clan and the Green Dragon clan had different territories, and there was no such thing as fighting over territory. Was Mo clan planning to expand the domestic market? Ling Yi was just curious, but he did not care much. He just wanted to save Su, and then find a place with her to live an ordinary life. Even if she did not love him, he was willing to take care of her for the rest of his life. Shi Fei turned around. In the backlight, the man's figure was tall, like an overlord overlooking the world, with an unparalleled aura. It was blasphemous to look at him more. Because he had thoughts he shouldn't have. When Ling Yi went down from the elevator, a girl passed by him. He was slightly stunned and turned back. From the gap of the elevator door slowly closing, he saw a slightly familiar side profile. He looked at the elevator. This was the exclusive elevator to the top floor. "She went to see Shi Fei?" Ling Yi suddenly remembered the man's words and had thoughts he shouldn't have. Lung Yen and Yen Mian? Shi Shang reached the top floor, but Shi Fei's people stopped her directly outside and did not allow her to enter. Shi Shang was so angry that she wanted to draw her sword. Just as she was about to do so, Shi Fei appeared at the door. "Let her in." The bodyguards immediately stopped and went back to their positions. They stood still like statues, as if they were not the ones who were fighting with Shi Shang just now. Shi Shang gave him the middle finger, straightened his clothes, and walked into the room. The bodyguards. They were just doing their job. The weather in March and April had begun to warm up, but it was still a little cold. The heater was not turned on in the room, but Shi Fei was only wearing a thin shirt. Shi Fei was putting on his watch. The exquisite watch set off his slender and beautiful hands. "Miss Yen, what's the matter?" Shi Shang walked over in a few steps and held his hand. Shi Fei raised his head slightly and looked at her with slight confusion. Shi Shang's lips curled into a smile. His smile was very faint, but it slowly rippled from the bottom of his eyes to the bottom of his heart. She took off the wristwatch that had not been fastened on his wrist. When Shi Fei came back to his senses, he had already put on another watch. Shi Shang pinched his hand and turned it back and forth, seemingly a little dissatisfied. "It's still not good enough." Then she smiled and said, "It's okay. Wear it first. I'll add it later when I have the chance." Shi Fei looked at the watch on his wrist. Most watches were mechanical, exquisite and elegant, but they were far inferior to the one on his hand. If it weren't for the fact that its hands were moving, it would be more like a piece of art in an exhibition hall, spanning across time. It was a little cold when he first put it on, but now he could feel a warmth slowly ironing from his wrist to his heart. But why did the carving inside look a little familiar? "Miss Yen," Shi Shang interrupted Shi Fei and said indifferently, "Throw it away if you don't want it." "Shi Fei." Is it really okay for you to force me to give you something? He reached out and touched the wristband made of an unknown material, sighed slightly, let go of his hand, and put down his sleeve to block the watch. Miss Yen, what can I do for you? Can't I come to you? Miss Yen, I'm very busy. Shi Fei put away the other things on the table and lowered his eyes, not daring to look at Shi Sheng. As soon as he saw her, he didn't want to look away, as if he couldn't get enough of her. I won't disturb you. Shi Fei. You're disturbing me by being here. I can't concentrate at all. Shi Fei suddenly looked up and said seriously, Miss Yen, I remember saying that I have a fiancé. Then do you mind having one more? Damn liar. How dare you lie to I that I have a fiancé? I do mind. Shi Sheng grinned, full of smiles. What's your fiancé's name? Shi Fei felt that Shi Sheng's smile was a little malicious. His mind turned quickly and he made up a name. Lisa. Oh. Shi Sheng's calm voice made Shi Fei feel even more strange. Then he heard her say maliciously, Then you won't mind if I kill her, right? Shi Fei, she's a girl, always talking about killing. She doesn't act like a girl at all. But why is his heart beating so fast? There was a voice in his heart shouting, It's her. It's her. He was stunned. Who is she? After a long time, Shi Fei sighed. You win. He admitted defeat. Some feelings were probably really irresistible. The most terrible thing was that he didn't want to at all. If he could, he should have left here and left her when he got the things. But he didn't. He stayed, not because of business, but because of her. Even if they didn't get along for long. They didn't even meet officially a few times. But he cared about her so much. So, Mr. Shi, are you willing to have one more fiancé now? Shi Fei didn't answer her but waved at her. Shi Sheng looked at him suspiciously. Is he going to beat me up? She walked over slowly. Shi Fei looked down at her and slowly leaned over. His handsome face was magnified in Shi Sheng's eyes. His warm breath fell on her face, the tip of her nose, and soft lips covered her lips. It was a little cold, but she was very familiar with his breath. This kiss was very light, just a light touch. He leaned over slightly, took the coat from behind her, and walked out with his arm around her. Shi Sheng. Damn. When did my C's boyfriend power become so strong? Leave this kind of thing to me. The bodyguards outside were equally stunned when they saw their president come out with Shi Sheng in his arms. Miss Yen, you're amazing. The door isn't even closed and you've already taken down our president. Asterisk Feng Ci. I'm going to start my counterattack. Little fairy, you're so shameless. My Shang will crush you any time. Feng Ci. Stepmother. Little fairy, I'm Shang's biological mother. That's enough. Feng Ci. Since you're right, I won't argue with you. Little fairy. I'd better ask for votes. Chapter 693. Shi Fei went to meet someone. The other party was surprised to see him with a girl, and Shi Sheng knew this person. It was the man she had asked to carve something for. This man was good-looking, but his temperament was a little gloomy, and his clothes were a little strange. He didn't look handsome at all. Only weirdness remained. Do you know each other? Shi Fei seemed to notice that Shi Sheng and the man were looking at each other unnaturally and asked aloud. The man clutched his chest and pointed to Shi Sheng. She's the one I told you to carve that thing for. I didn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. Shi Fei suddenly remembered the picture he sent him, but at that time, it was only a semi-finished product, not as exquisite as what he saw in the watch just now. And it wasn't integrated with the watch, so he didn't remember for a while. You make it sound like I didn't pay. Shi Sheng rolled his eyes. The man choked, retracted his hand, coughed, sat up straight, and winked at Shi Fei. The gist of it was, why are you messing around with her? This woman doesn't look like a good person. Shi Fei ignored his winks and introduced the other party's name to Shi Sheng. Then he asked directly, when are you going back? I haven't had enough fun yet. The other party immediately deflated. I can't hold on for long this time. You know your mother's temper. Cousin, we're all brothers. Why are you in such a hurry? Shi Shuo looked at Shi Fei resentfully. My mother listens to you. Tell my mother not to mess with me. I'm only 22, okay? This is the time to create miracles. How can I be delayed by a woman? When your father was your age, you could already run around, Shi Fei said calmly. Shi Shuo's mouth twitched. You believe that? Whether others believed it or not, he didn't believe it. According to his birth date in the household register, his father was clearly almost 30 years old, but his mother said that his father was in his early 20s. He was born then. How many years had he been eaten? I don't care. Anyway, if you don't help me, I'll. Shi Shuo hesitated for a long time before he realized that there was nothing he could do to threaten him. In the end, he laid back down on the ground. Why did I have to meet a bunch of troublesome relatives like you? In the end, Shi Shuo left angrily. After he left, She Sheng asked, he called you cousin. Why did he follow your surname? His father married into the family. Shi Fei did not hide the truth. Marrying into her family. A man who could marry into her family was true love. Shi Fei sent She Sheng home. When he returned to the hotel, Shi Shuo was already waiting for him inside. Cousin, why is that woman with you? As soon as he entered, Shi Shuo began to interrogate him. I don't think that woman is anything good. You have to keep your eyes open. Not just anyone can enter our house. Do you know her well? Shi Fei asked. Shi Shuo shook his head. Only twice. If that's the case, how do you know she's not a good person? In any case, it's not anything good. Shi Shuo sat down on the sofa. You can play around, but if you really want to be with her, let alone me, who in our family would agree? They can't wait for you to never marry. Shi Fei. Is this something you should say? Play around. This idea had never crossed his mind. Either they wouldn't be together, or they would always be together. Shi Fei took off his coat and rolled up his sleeves, revealing the watch on his wrist. Shi Shuo's eyes were sharp and he still recognized his own things. He grabbed Shi Fei's hand and pulled it to his eyes. Wasn't this carved by him? Why did it appear here in such a strange way? Could this thing be used as a watch? How did he make it? She gave it to me. Shi Fei pulled his hand back and rolled up his sleeves. If you can help her carve it, it means that you are satisfied with the price she offered. Shi Shuo opened his mouth. Forget it, I don't care. He couldn't even protect himself. The Shi family was a very strange family. Girls were more popular than boys, but girls in the Shi family were always very rare. In the previous generation, his mother was the only girl. His mother could get whatever she wanted in the Shi family. When it came to him and Shi Fei, they lived an inhumane life. Shi Fei was fine. After all, he was the heir, but he was miserable. He was always forced by his mother to marry a wife and then have a daughter. Have a daughter. Brother Sheng my ass. He was already so miserable with one woman. If he had a daughter, how could he live? As for the group of people who couldn't wait for Shi Fei to not marry, it was all because they felt that the coquettish cheese outside were not worthy of their son. They had to be self-produced, but unfortunately, there were no self-produced ones. If there were no self-produced ones, then don't marry them. A group of lunatics, they didn't want to go back at all. She Shang found that there had been a lot of turbulence in the Qinglong sect recently. She was a little confused. She had just started to crack down on illegal activities, so why did she start to lose control? But this didn't stop She Shang from cracking down on illegal activities. The Qinglong sect, which was already quite turbulent, was even more besieged after She Shang intervened. Lang Yen was so busy that he didn't even have time to check on Ying Su. Ling Yi took the opportunity to take Ying Su out of the mansion. When Lang Yen found out, the two had already run away. Shi Shang saw Lang Yan's angry look from the monitor and only found it funny. People only knew how to maintain their nobility and elegance when they were proud of themselves. Therefore, in order to maintain their nobility and elegance, they had to be calm and have the bearing to control the situation. The host was acting cool again. Damn it, when you were so angry that you pulled out your sword, where was your nobility and elegance? Only lunatics. As long as the male lead was killed, the original host's wish would be fulfilled. Shi Shang packed up and went out. As soon as he took out his phone, he saw Shi Fei's car slowly stop in front of him. Shi Fei drove the car himself. He smiled gently at Shi Shang. The smile was very short. Shi Shang had been staring at him the whole time, so he caught it. Shi Shang put the phone back, opened the car door, and quickly kissed Shi Fei's face. Shi Fei was stunned. The tips of his ears quickly turned red. He leaned back, distanced himself from Shi Shang, and coughed. What do you want to do with the Green Dragon clan? Shi Shang was surprised. You did it. She had guessed before, but denied it. After all, the Black Clan's power was not in the country. If Shi Fei really wanted to do it, he would have to transfer people from abroad. These arrangements would take time. Calculating the time, that Shi Fei was still at odds with her. How could he deal with the Green Dragon clan? So when this thought flashed through her mind, she denied it. She didn't expect it. She also had times when she was tricked. My words are too good. Shi Fei's breathing was a little rapid. Shi Shang was still very close to him. He could even hear her heartbeat. Her glossy lips tempted him to taste them. He only needed to lean over slightly to kiss her. Shi Fei's face was tense, and he replied calmly, Lang Yan is too ambitious. Asterisk ha, come on, kiss me. I beg for votes. I beg for votes. Chapter 694. As the male lead, Lang Yan was naturally ambitious. Otherwise, he wouldn't have tried so hard to get what Lang Yao Tian left behind. But now he was almost forced into a desperate situation. He only had two choices: give up the Azure Dragon Gate and leave with his confidants. Otherwise, he would fight with force and see who would have the last laugh. The Azure Dragon Gate was secretly suppressed by Shi Fei and dealt with a lot of them. It was almost impossible to fight with force. So Lang Yan decided to run away with his people. Shi Shang got the news from the surveillance. As for where Shi Fei got it from, it was unknown. Let's go to school first. Shi Shang suddenly said. Shi Fei looked at Shi Shang with a little doubt. Why go to school at this time? Just in case. What if the male lead wanted to do something before he left? After all, he had seen Su Shan. If it were her, she would also start with the people around him if she couldn't beat him. This was human nature. Shi Fei naturally knew who Shi Shang had around him. He turned the car around and went to Su Shan's school. It was the end of class, so Shi Shang easily brought Su Shan out. As soon as Shi Shang and Su Shan walked out of the school, there was a violent explosion behind them. Su Shan screamed in fright. Shi Shang picked her up and ran quickly to Shi Fei's car. After getting in the car, Shi Fei immediately drove away from the school. Su Shan was a little stunned. Her ears were full of buzzing sounds. It took a while for her to recover. Sister, what was that sound? Explosion. What explosion? Our school? Su Shan's face turned pale. How could the school explode? It was an explosion. Shi Shang rubbed Su Shan's head. Go back and watch the news yourself. Su Shan looked at Shi Shang in confusion. Why did she feel like her sister knew everything? Why did she come to pick her up when the school exploded? She didn't have time to see where the explosion was, so when Su Shan saw the news, she was so scared that she had nightmares for several nights. The car drove in the direction of the airport. Su Shan paused for a while before she realized there was another person in the car. She looked at Shi Fei a few times. When a little girl looked at a man, she could only judge him based on whether he was good-looking or not. So in Su Shan's eyes, Shi Fei was like a star on TV, so handsome. She carefully tugged at Shi Shang's sleeve. Is this the person my sister likes? Shi Shang nodded slightly. Su Shan found it difficult to communicate with her eyes. She took out her phone and typed, then handed it to Shi Shang. You're very compatible with big sister. Shi Shang also picked up her phone and slowly typed on it. I'm so beautiful, so of course I have to find a handsome man. He has to be good looking before I can bring him out to meet people. Su Shan's mouth twitched. His sister was hopelessly narcissistic. Su Shan was a very cute girl, but Shi Fei didn't like her very much. Seeing her happily snuggling up to Shi Shang, he wanted to throw her out. Of course, he could only think about it, so he sped up. Su Shan was so scared that she did not have the energy to talk to Shi Shang. The car entered the airport, and Shi Fei slowed down. Su Shan hugged Shi Shang's arm, her face pale. You scared me, sister. Shi Shang touched her head, and Shi Fei snorted coldly in the front. Shi Shang smiled silently. Shi Fei looked around the airport. There are police. Of course there are police. I called the police. Shi Fei's people were also mixed in with the police. He asked them to stay put and wait for the police to take action. If the police couldn't do it, they would take action. Su Shan didn't know what they were doing here, but she felt that the atmosphere was a little strange. She didn't dare to speak, and shrank into Shi Shang's side, looking obedient. Shi Fei suddenly turned around. You sit in the front. Shi Shang got directly into the car and sat in the passenger seat. Su Shan pursed her lips in the back. Shi Fei grabbed Shi Shang's hand and rubbed it gently before moving his gaze outside. The flow of people at the airport was very large. It was actually very difficult to find a few people among so many people without alerting the enemy. Shi Shang played with Shi Fei's hand. This hand was beautiful enough for her to play with for a year. It was beautiful no matter how she looked at it. The system was really afraid that she would cut off his hand and frame it. Fortunately, the host didn't have such dangerous thoughts this time. Click. The car door was suddenly pulled open, and a figure jumped in from outside. Cousin, drive. Shi Shang and Shi Fei looked at the person who jumped out at the same time. Shi Shuo's face was full of anxiety. He looked out of the car and patted Shi Fei with his hand. My mother's people are here. They're blocking me at the airport. Drive. Hurry up, they're coming out. Shi Shang looked towards the exit. Sure enough, she saw several burly foreigners dressed in black suits and sunglasses. They were walking over aggressively. When the plainclothes policemen saw these people, they were all secretly on their guard. Shi Shuo was very anxious, but Shi Fei sat still like a mountain. Those people had already walked to the front of the car. They first looked at the car a few times, then talked for a while, probably confirming something. After a while, someone came forward and knocked on the window. Shi Fei rolled down the window. Sir. The other party spoke in English. Shi Fei nodded slightly and replied in fluent English. When I return to China, I will take Shi Shuo with me. Tell my aunt not to worry. The other party hesitated for a few seconds, looked at Shi Shuo, who was trying to reduce his presence, and then looked at Shi Shang, and finally retreated. Then we'll go back and report. Shi Shuo breathed a sigh of relief when Shi Fei closed the window. You're really my brother. I'll go first. He had to run away quickly. He didn't want to go back. But when Shi Shuo pushed the door, he found that it couldn't be pushed open. Cousin. Brother. You're not really going to take me with you when you return to China, are you? Shi Shuo complained. It's not safe outside. Shi Shuo pressed his face against the window and tried to look outside. What's not safe? Is this really a member of your Shi family? Shi Shang asked. How dare he say that he's a relative of a mafia boss? Hey, what do you mean? Shi Shuo pulled his face back and glared at Shi Shang. If I'm not a member of the Shi family, then are you? I'm your brother's man. In theory, I should be, Shi Shang answered seriously. Shi Shuo was furious. Can you be more shameless? My brother hasn't even done anything with you yet, and you're already putting yourself in the Shi family's picture. You're up to no good, aren't you? Ouch. Shi Shuo suddenly cried out. Only then did he realize that there was a little girl sitting next to him. The little girl's hand was pinching his arm. Don't talk bad about my sister. Su Shanshan's face was full of anger. Let go, let go. Shi Shuo cried out in pain. Naughty kids nowadays are so rude, pinching people as soon as they come up. Su Shanshan saw Shishang looking over and quickly let go. Shishang reached out and patted Su Shanshan, who was overprotective of her, like a pet. He grinned and said to Shi Shuo, I'm up to no good, but your brother likes me. What should I do? What should I do? I'm so angry. Begging for monthly votes. Hashtag begging for sweet potato votes today. Hashtag. Chapter 695. Shi Shuo was so angry that he wanted to cry. He shouldn't have helped her in the first place. What kind of person was this? He only dared to say what his brother liked, but he didn't dare to do anything. Shi Shuo shrank to the side and muttered to himself. No one knew what he was mumbling about. The police outside also began to move. Shi Fei moved his gaze away from Shishang and looked outside. Lang Yan and his men entered the airport in batches. They probably sensed something was wrong and retreated one by one. The police encirclement kept shrinking, and Lang Yan and his men were forced into a small circle. At this time, there were still people around. The police were afraid of provoking them, so they used passers-by as a shield and didn't dare to move too much. Young Master Yan, let's fight? The people around Lang Yan suggested. Now that they were surrounded, they could only be arrested if they didn't fight. In order to pass through the airport, they didn't carry many weapons. If they really fought, they probably wouldn't be a match for the fully armed police. But weren't those the only two choices they had? Who was it that leaked the news? The police hadn't found them at all. Only a few of them knew that they were going to leave. Why would the police appear here now? Lang Yan's face darkened. It was meaningless to talk about this at this time. How to get out was more important. Young Master Yan, say something. Let's fight, Lang Yan said in a low voice. Hearing Lang Yan's words, the others immediately took out their guns and fired at the empty space. The sudden gunshots made the passers-by panic and flee. The scene was chaotic. The police immediately dispersed the crowd and continued to surround Lang Yan and his men. They quickly called for reinforcements. Screams and gunshots overlapped and lingered in the air above the airport for a long time. He's going to run, Shishang said softly. Lang Yan had already broken through the encirclement and was running towards them. Shi Fei took out a gun from the car, rolled down the window and pointed the muzzle at Lang Yan who was running towards them. Brother! Shi Shuo exclaimed. Shooting in front of so many police would cause trouble. Shi Fei aimed at Lang Yan. When Lang Yan realized that someone was pointing a gun at him, it was too late. There were police behind him and he couldn't run back. He wanted to run to the side, but a few police cars drove over from the side, completely blocking his way out. Bang! Shi Fei didn't even check if he had hit the target. He put down the gun, started the car, and left quickly. Through the rearview mirror, Shishang could see that Lang Yan's body was frozen in place. He was looking in their direction. Due to the distance, Shishang could not see his expression clearly. After the car drove far away, Lang Yan's body slowly fell to the ground. Shi Fei drove the car onto the highway and took the time to dial a number. Send someone to wait at Highway 215 and deal with the aftermath. Before the other side answered, Shi Fei hung up the phone. He didn't even give a specific address, but when he stopped the car, there were already people waiting on the highway. Shi Shuo did not waste his breath this time. He opened the car door and jumped into the waiting car. Shi Fei waited for Shishang to come down before he said a few words to the others and drove away. Shi Fei drove the car back to the city after circling around. Shi Shuo got off halfway, saying that he did not want to be in the same room as a murderer. To be honest, Shishang really wanted to slap him. Damn it, he made it sound like he was a little girl with a clean background. Su Shan was probably frightened and did not say anything. Lang Yen was not dead. After the emergency treatment, he was still alive and kicking. The police had the clues provided by Shi Sheng. After the police investigation, the evidence was valid. Coupled with Shi Fei's secret tampering, Lang Yen could not escape this time. Did you miss on purpose? Shi Sheng tilted his head and looked at Shi Fei. At that time, they were not far away. It was not difficult for him to hit Lang Yen, but Lang Yen was saved in the end. Shi Sheng could only think that Shi Fei did it on purpose. Shi Fei did not deny it. Yes. He signed the last document and looked up at Shi Sheng. Death is too easy for him. For people, death was a terrible thing. But on the other hand, death was also a relief. Lang Yen wanted to kill her. How could he let Lang Yen die so easily? Stay in prison for the rest of his life. Shi Sheng's mouth twitched into a cold smile. If you don't like it, I can let him die quietly in prison. You even dare to touch people in prison? Shi Sheng tilted his head and looked at him. Shi Fei reached out and pulled her into his arms. President Xi, who had mastered the art of kissing, kissed Shi Sheng until he was out of breath. His lips were close to her ear and he whispered softly, "As long as it's what you want, no matter how difficult it is, I will do it for you. You've learned how to say sweet nothings." Shi Sheng clicked his tongue. Shi Fei was a little confused. Why was the effect different from what was written in the book? It was not that it was different from what was written in the book, but that Shi Sheng did not follow the script. "Are you willing to die for me?" Shi Sheng turned around and put his arms around his neck. He looked at him with a smile, only his figure in his eyes. The question he asked was not so friendly. "I just want to die with you." Shi Fei's words came out of his mouth almost without thinking. After saying it, he was stunned. This sentence. He had a very familiar feeling, just like the familiar feeling when he saw her. It seemed that he had said it many times to someone. He thought that his answer would make her unhappy. But the girl on top of him seemed to be very satisfied with this answer. Her eyebrows seemed to be tinged with a smile. She leaned over and kissed him, then got up and left. Shan has a parent-teacher conference today. I'm going to school first. Shi Fei pulled her. I'll go with you. Shi Sheng's eyebrows curved slightly. Okay. Last time there was an explosion in the school. Several people died. The school was suspended for a long time because of it. Not long after school started, the school held a parent-teacher conference to let the parents know about the previous incident and also to appease them. Shi Sheng and Shi Fei became the highlight of a group of uncles and aunties as soon as they entered. Not only were they young, but they were also so good-looking. The teacher was talking at the top, spittle flying everywhere. The parents below were basically looking at Shi Sheng and Shi Fei. How could they hear what the teacher was talking about? Why are they all looking at me? Shi Fei grabbed Shi Sheng's hand under the table and asked in a low voice. How do you know they are looking at you? Shi Sheng snorted. Maybe they are looking at me? Are you the only good-looking one? She is also as beautiful as a flower, okay? Shi Fei. What should I do if my girlfriend doesn't follow the routine? Waiting online, it's quite urgent. I don't like them looking at me. Shi Fei's fingertips rubbed Shi Sheng's palm, and his voice was a little flirtatious. I just want to show it to you. Okay, I'll lock you up, how about that? Shi Fei, the two parents by the window in the 5th row below, please don't show off your affection here. You need to communicate emotionally. Please go back and close the door to communicate, okay? The teacher suddenly slammed the table and glared in one direction. She had said so much, but these people didn't listen to her at all. Everyone's eyes were focused on the two parents by the window in the 5th row. Shi Sheng, Shi Fei. Asterisk ha ha ha. Please go back and close the door to communicate. Chapter 696. Shi Sheng wanted to die at this parent-teacher conference. Shi Fei, on the other hand, was calm and composed. He sat upright and listened to the teacher attentively. Since then, Su Shanshan was once again watched closely. After all, it was extremely rare to see such a young and handsome parent. Su Shanshan graduated from junior high school and was admitted to the best high school in City A. In order to make it easier for Su Shanshan to go to school, Shi Shang wanted to move the house near the high school. Who knew that Shi Fei had already bought a house nearby and was waiting for her to move? My wife is amazing. Shi Shang patted Shi Fei on the shoulder. Shi Fei's mouth twitched. He grabbed her hand and pulled her into his arms. Whose wife? You're my wife. Shi Shang smiled happily. Why, haven't I spoiled you enough? Shi Fei suddenly felt weak. Compared to her, what he had done was not worth mentioning at all. You'll spoil me if you spoil me so much. Shi Fei let go of her and led her into the house. Shi Shang narrowed his eyes and said matter-of-factly, "But if I don't spoil you, who else can I spoil?" These words undoubtedly pleased Shi Fei. He paused and turned his head. Yan Mian, did you owe me in your last life? Otherwise, why would she be so good to him in this life? What nonsense are you talking about? Shi Shang slapped him on the head. Is it wrong for I to spoil my man? Shi Fei. Why is it so difficult to say a word of love? What should I do if I have a wife who always wants to spoil me? Shi Shang found that the house only had 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. The point was, 2 bedrooms. To be honest, Shi Shang was very grateful for Feng Xi's initiative. She seemed very happy from the day she moved, but when she finished moving, she found out that tragedy had happened. Shi Fei actually bought a house next door. Next door. He lived next door. It was better to count on a pig to climb a tree than to count on Feng Xi to take the initiative. What should I do if I have a partner who I've slept with countless times but is still pure? I'm waiting, it's urgent. Sister? Are you unhappy? Su Shanshan tidied up her room and saw Shi Shang leaning against the door with his arms crossed, looking outside with a sad face. I can see it, but I can't eat it. Shi Shang sighed. Of course I'm not happy. Su Shanshan. She was still a child. Was it really okay to say such things in front of her? No matter how much Shi Shang flirted with Shi Fei, it was just, she wasn't allowed to sleep. She wasn't allowed to sleep. She wasn't allowed to sleep. Shi Shang was so angry that he almost drugged her. It wasn't like he didn't have any reaction. Why didn't he let her sleep with him? Just as Shi Shang was about to force himself on her, Shi Fei returned to China. Bring her along. Shi Fei and Su Shanshan had been together for so long that many people had come looking for him, but they were all rejected by Shi Fei. Shi Shang wanted to take Su Shanshan abroad to study, but Shi Fei refused. She said that she had more freedom in the country. When Shi Shang saw the Shi family, he would understand why Shi Fei said that there should be more freedom in the country. The moment she got off the plane, she was surrounded by people from all angles. If it weren't for the fact that the onlookers didn't touch her, she would have drawn her sword and slashed them. Xiao Fei, your daughter-in-law, is not good. One of the older men commented. Just as Shi Shang was about to argue, he said faintly, but she's barely qualified to enter our Shi family. Shi Shang. I entered your Shi family because of your daughter-in-law, and you're still saying that she's barely qualified. If it was someone else, even the world's richest man, I wouldn't care. Be content. What's the point of looking for a partner? If you ask me, Xiao Fei should live with us. Another man's words were even scarier. After he finished speaking, his tone changed again. But we've already found her. We can't just send her back. That would make our Shi family look like trash. Thank you, you didn't agree to let I into your family because you didn't want your family to be trash. Xiao Fei, has your daughter-in-law killed anyone? One of the people behind suddenly said, Our family is not a place where a delicate little girl can enter. We won't be responsible if she's scared to death. The number of people I have killed is more than the number of meals you have eaten. Miss, come on, don't talk nonsense with them. A woman dressed elegantly finally couldn't help but reach out and pull Shi Shang to her side. She's a good girl, why do you want her to kill people? The woman paused. She just needs to watch others do it. Shi Shang looked at Shi Fei silently. Is there anyone normal in your family? Auntie, uncles, if Mian Mian is scared away by you, you can forget about getting your pocket money, Shi Fei said lightly. The group of people who were ready to scare Shi Shang immediately coughed a few times and looked away. When they turned back, their faces were full of kindness. This little girl is delicate and pretty. She's a perfect match for our Xiao Fei. Yes, look at her temperament. Ordinary people can't compare to her. Xiao Fei is so lucky. Blah blah blah. The praise without any sincerity made Shi Shang feel like he was in a mental hospital. The people of the Shi family seemed to be easy to get along with, but these people secretly controlled the lifelines of the major sects of the Mo clan. They were not easy to get along with. They had originally wanted to scare Shi Shang so that she would back off in the face of difficulties. However, this girl looked at them as if they were mentally retarded, making them wonder if they were really mentally retarded. Later, they learned from Shi Shua, who was later escorted back, that this girl had turned the domestic mafia upside down and was awarded the title of Mafia Master. Now the domestic mafia did not dare to show their faces, for fear that they would be wiped out by the police. So this girl had enough of the domestic mafia and came to play with them abroad? Everyone refuted Shi Fei in unison. This daughter-in-law is unacceptable. Shi Fei ignored these lunatics. They couldn't make the decision he made, so he just yelled a few times and ignored them. Everything would be fine in a few days. When Shi Fei ignored them, they went to Shi Shang. Since they were Shi Fei's elders, Shi Shang listened patiently at first and occasionally said a few words. However, there was no end to these people. They kept nagging at her all day long. In the end, Shi Shang couldn't stand it anymore and took out his sword to kill this group of people. This group of people was shocked by Shi Shang's strength, but they were also more worried that Shi Fei would be bullied by Shi Shang. They ran to Shi Fei and urged him not to have this kind of daughter-in-law. Shi Fei had long wanted to teach them a lesson, but they were not like other families who treated him badly. He couldn't teach them a lesson even if he wanted to. Shi Shang's actions were deeply appreciated by Shi Fei, so this group of people finally left in disgrace and did not appear for a long time. It was not until the wedding was about to start that they appeared one after another and pointed fingers at the wedding. This person said something was wrong here and there, and that it should be changed. As soon as the wedding was done, another person said something was wrong here and there, and that it should be changed. If Shi Shang was a wedding company, he would definitely slap these lunatics to death. Change. Vote. I need votes in the new week. Chapter 697. When he got up the next day, Shi Fei was full of energy. Shi Shang looked sickly and listless. She couldn't even last 300 rounds in bed without Reiki. Bad review. Are you feeling unwell? Shi Fei touched her forehead nervously. Shi Shang shook her head. No. She patted her face and cheered herself up. Let's go. Those idiots are still waiting. Shi Fei was a little worried about Shi Shang and carefully supported her. It doesn't matter if we go later. They can afford to wait. That's rude. Shi Fei. You still know the word polite? That's rare. When Shi Fei and Shi Shang went down, the hall was already full of people, including all the gossips. Shi Shang was going to serve tea this morning to these strange elders who gave her and Shi Fei a bunch of condoms yesterday. Shi Fei's parents were not there. They were said to be traveling around the world and no one could contact them. They didn't even show up at the wedding. Cousin, last night. Shi Shua took advantage of the time when Shi Shang was being pulled aside by the gossips to sneak up to Shi Fei and winked. Shi Fei kept a straight face and didn't answer. Cousin, how are the books I bought for you? Are they very useful? Shi Shua continued. Shi Fei. Completely useless. Shi Shua continued to talk to himself. But she's also quite capable. She managed to deal with these difficult relatives so quickly. Shi Fei looked at the girl who was at ease in front of the elders and made the group of people speechless. His eyes were filled with tenderness. This was the person he chose. After the wedding, Shi Shang and Shi Fei stayed abroad for a while before returning to China. Because Su Shanshan had classes, she was sent back to China after the wedding, so only Shi Shang and Shi Fei returned this time. Shi Shuo was detained by the Shi family on a blind date. It was said that he was not allowed to leave the Shi family until he got married. The Shi family condemned Shi Shang for abducting their Xiao Fei, but in the end, everyone still made up for the wedding red packet. After all, if word got out about the condoms, people would laugh their heads off. "I'm going to the toilet." As soon as he got off the plane, Shi Shang threw the things in his hand to Shi Fei and quickly ran in the direction of the toilet. She felt like she was on her period. He went to the toilet to take a look. Sure enough, she had come. Only then did Shi Shang realize that he didn't have any sanitary pads in his bag. Shi Shang texted Shi Fei and asked him to buy it for him. Shi Fei stared at the phone for a long time and finally confirmed that he was not mistaken. He could only hand the things to the bodyguard beside him and walk towards the airport store. Shi Fei took a deep breath and went directly to the area where daily necessities were placed. His eyes swept over something that looked like a sanitary pad. There was no one in this area, so Shi Fei could only go there by himself. He took out his phone and checked the brands one by one, but he still couldn't find the brand that Shi Shang had mentioned. "Sir, how can I help you?" The salesperson probably saw that a man like him had been loitering around here for so long, and he was so handsome, so she asked with a red face. Shi Fei was embarrassed for a moment, but soon calmed down and showed his phone to the salesperson. "My wife is on her period. She wants this brand, but I can't find it. Can I trouble you to help me get it?" Ah, this voice is so nice. The salesperson was completely intoxicated by Shi Fei's voice. When Shi Fei was a little impatient, she came back to her senses and glanced at the text message. With the shyness of a fangirl, she walked to the other side and explained, "This brand is being promoted, so it's not placed here." Does your wife want it for day use or night use?" The fangirl salesperson didn't realize until she reached the place. Such a handsome man actually has a wife. How heartbreaking. Shi Fei looked at his phone. It didn't say anything. Shi Fei asked the salesperson the difference between the two. Finally, he texted and asked, and Shi Shang asked him to buy both. The fangirl salesperson. So considerate. Why didn't she have such a good-looking, good-sounding, and considerate husband? The fangirl salesperson reluctantly watched Shi Fei leave with the things, but before she could move her eyes away, Shi Fei turned back. He walked directly to the salesperson. Although his face was a little cold, he was very polite. "I'm sorry, could you please help me take the things to the toilet?" The people he brought were a group of uncouth people. Who could enter the ladies' room? The fangirl salesperson immediately nodded and agreed to the handsome man's request. She said goodbye to her colleagues on duty and followed Shi Fei to the toilet. The salesperson took the things to the toilet. She wanted to see what kind of person the handsome man's wife was, so she waited outside for a while. Shi Shang came out and saw her. Seeing that she was wearing the store's uniform, he smiled and thanked her politely. "Thank you for taking the things in for me." The fangirl salesperson's eyes suddenly widened. She waved her hand and said, "It's okay, it's our duty to serve customers." Ah! The handsome man's wife was really good-looking and so polite. She was so handsome when she smiled. The fangirl salesperson was stunned. Why did she say handsome? Shi Shang washed his hands and saw that the salesperson was still standing there. He reminded her, "Aren't you going out?" "Ah, yes. The fangirl salesperson smiled embarrassedly and went out with Shi Shang. She said with admiration and envy, "Your husband is so good to you. You will have one too." Shi Shang paused, nodded slightly and walked in the other direction. The fangirl salesperson held her heart and was infatuated for a while. She clenched her fists tightly. She would definitely find such a handsome man. You can do it. When leaving the airport, Shi Shang saw two people who were quite surprised. Ling Yi and Ying Su. Ying Su was sitting in a wheelchair and looked a little dazed. Ling Yi pushed her and her luggage inside. Before, the country was very strict and they didn't dare to leave. After such a long time, Ling Yi took Ying Su abroad. Ling Yi bent down and asked Ying Su something. Ying Su shook her head. Ling Yi stayed in that position for a long time. His expression was a little bitter, but he quickly restrained himself and said a few words with a smile. Ying Su looked at him a few times and seemed to have said something unpleasant. The smile on Ling Yi's face was a little stiff. He stood up straight and pushed Ying Su forward. Ying Su turned around and kept saying something to him. Her expression changed from anxious to angry and finally to helpless begging. Ling Yi ignored her. Shi Shang didn't meet them face to face and watched them disappear into the crowd. Shi Fei touched Shi Shang's head and said softly, "The car is here." Shi Shang turned around and smiled at Shi Fei. Later, Shi Shang met Ying Su once abroad. At that time, she was not in a wheelchair and was supported by Ling Yi. Unlike at the airport, there was a faint ambiguity between the two. The 21st world ended. He didn't want to write about the military, the Republic of China, ancient Chinese, interstellar, and so on. Damn it, he didn't want to write too much. His heart hurt. Chapter 698. After Su Shanshan graduated from high school, she went abroad with Shi Shang to study abroad. The universities abroad were more liberal, open, and democratic than in China. She was no longer the Su Shanshan who was abandoned and cautious at every turn. She was the Su Shanshan who had seen life and death, who had been trained by Shi Shang to become a socialite. Her sister had said. Her name was Su Shanshan, so she should be the shining star. She had to shine so brightly that others would be blinded by her brilliance. Su Shanshan remembered everything Shi Shang said and tried her best to fulfill it. Therefore, during her time in university, almost everyone knew the name Su Shanshan. In her second year, Su Shanshan started her own business. The startup capital was sponsored by Shi Shang. She didn't want it at first, but after being brainwashed by Shi Shang, Su Shanshan accepted it immediately. Why did you have to start from the bottom when you had the resources? If you started from a high starting point, then your achievements must be higher than others. This was relative. When she graduated from university, while other students were still busy with work, Su Shanshan's company had already started to recruit people. Her success was natural and was the lucky one in everyone's eyes. Because she had an omnipotent sister and a brother-in-law who unified the underground kingdom. If she didn't succeed, she would probably find a piece of tofu and kill herself. Su Shanshan also knew that she was lucky. Because she met the person who brought her everything. If it wasn't for her, she might have grown up in Huangshan village, uneducated, married a random person and lived a mediocre life. She was very grateful to Shi Shang. No matter what event Su Shanshan attended, as long as she could kidnap Shi Shang, he would bring her along. This also made Su Shanshan very unpopular with Shi Fei. Of course, she didn't care if she was popular or not, as long as she was popular in front of Shi Shang. Su Shanshan was also grateful to the villagers of Huangshan village. After she had the ability, she donated money to build roads and schools in Huangshan village. She also thought about giving them money directly, but Shi Shang told her that giving money was only temporary. Could you give them money for a lifetime? If they wanted to get out of that place, they had to build roads and schools. Later, Su Shanshan sent people to see what was suitable for planting in Huangshan village, so that the people nearby could become rich. Su Shanshan's name was well known in that area. When Su Shanshan was abroad, she did not return to Huangshan village. On the eve of one spring festival, she originally agreed to return to China with Shi Shang. However, when she was about to leave, she found out that Shi Fei had secretly changed his visa and was going to another country. Su Shanshan was already a mature and steady girl at that time, but she almost got into a fight with Shi Fei at the airport. If it weren't for Shi Shang, it would probably dominate the headlines the next day. Su Shan could only return home alone. When the plane landed, her face was still filled with anger and dissatisfaction. When she came out of the exit, she saw someone in the crowd holding up a sign to welcome her. The person used the sign to cover his face. Su Shan could only guess from the person's height and build that it was a man. It seemed that only her high school classmates knew that she had returned to the country. Su Shan walked over. "Hey." The other party heard the voice and put down the sign. He was a very gentle man with a pair of glasses. Su Shan. Su Shan thought for a while before she remembered who this person was. Lei Qing. She was the class monitor of her high school. Lei Qing was popular because he was handsome and had a good temper. She heard that a lot of girls liked him. However, Su Shan was focused on her studies at that time and didn't pay much attention to him. She only heard about him occasionally. She didn't expect that he would come to pick her up this time, which surprised her. "You still remember me?" Lei Qing pushed up his glasses. Su Shan smiled politely and pointed to the passage, indicating that she should go out first. The two met outside, and Su Shan asked curiously, "Why are you here to pick me up?" "There was a class reunion recently. I'm the class monitor and also the organizer. I saw in the group that you were coming back, so I asked them about the time and came to pick you up. I hope you don't mind." Su Shan didn't mention the specific time of her return to the country in the class group. She only said that it was today. "Have you been waiting for a long time?" Su Shan asked. Lei Qing shook his head and said gently and politely, "No, I just picked up two classmates and they're in the car outside. I didn't plan to send them to the hotel without you in this class, but I didn't expect you to come out." "What a coincidence. You don't have a place to stay, right? Why don't we go to the hotel together?" Su Shan nodded. "Thank you, class monitor." "It's my pleasure. I'll help you carry your luggage." Lei Qing took the initiative to take Su Shan's luggage and led her out. "I heard that you have your own company. Among us old classmates, you're doing the best." Su Shan listened and didn't say anything. Lei Qing said a few words, but seeing that Su Shan didn't respond, he stopped talking. There were two classmates sitting in the car outside, and Su Shan had some impression of them. These people had a deep impression of Su Shan, the top student, and asked her all kinds of questions as soon as they got in the car. Su Shan's polite reply was neither familiar nor cold. When the car arrived at the hotel, Su Shan found that some of her classmates were already staying there. These people had flown back from all over the world. They had long since shed their youthfulness, put on suits and leather shoes, put on heavy makeup, and became members of society. They learned to put on a show and welcome people with a smile. They were no longer like when they were young, showing everything on their faces. Su Shan was raised by Shishang, and she inherited almost all of Shishang's values. Therefore, when she saw these people, she could maintain a calm attitude. She didn't have the attitude that she had to act high and mighty just because she was now the boss of a company. When chatting with old friends and greeting classmates that she wasn't familiar with, she did everything perfectly. Su Shan had more time this time, so she wasn't in a hurry to go to Huangshan village. She stayed in the hotel with these people for 2 days, and when almost everyone arrived, the class reunion officially started. Halfway through the reunion, Lei Qing suddenly appeared in front of Su Shan with flowers. He still had a gentle smile on his face, and looked at Su Shan softly. "Shan, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend?" Lei Qing took care of Su Shan these few days, and everyone could see that Lei Qing wanted to pursue Su Shan. Therefore, when Lei Qing confessed to Su Shan at the reunion, no one was surprised. However, Su Shan was a little embarrassed. She didn't like Lei Qing at all. But with so many people cheering, Su Shan didn't know how to refuse. Suddenly, a figure flashed in her mind, and disappeared in a flash. Su Shan's eyes were a little dim. If her sister was here, what would she do? A few images immediately flashed in Su Shan's mind, and the corner of her mouth twitched slightly. Fei could blow people up without her sister doing anything. But she wasn't her sister. Su Shanshan looked at Lei Qing. Lei Qing's face was a little expectant, but also a little nervous. Asterisk Su Shanshan. Sister, come and save me. Shishang. The sky is high, the road is long, you're on your own. Su Shanshan. Ah, Shifei, what did you do to my sister? Hashtag today's rice cake flavored ticket. Hashtag Monday. I want tickets. Monthly tickets. Votes. Chapter 699. That day at the class reunion, Su Shanshan did not answer for a long time. Lei Qing gave Su Shanshan a way out and asked her to think about it. The class reunion continued, and after reminiscing about their youth, they had all kinds of high times. Su Shanshan was bored in the room, mainly because of the way the people looked at her. Everything was ambiguous, and they purposely pushed her in Lei Qing's direction. She used the excuse of going to the toilet and left the room. She stood there for a while, and suddenly a figure flashed by the corridor beside her. Su Shanshan was stunned, and quickly chased after it. When she turned the corner, she only saw an empty corridor, and no one else. Su Shanshan rubbed her temples and shook her head in amusement. How could he be here? When Su Shanshan was abroad, she rarely went to places like KTV. Even if she did, she would go to the Shi family's property, and no one dared to do anything to her. But the people here did not know who Su Shanshan was. Seeing that she was pretty, some of them had evil thoughts. When Su Shanshan was about to go back, a few men blocked her way. These people were drunk, and their guts were probably enough to blow up the moon. Su Shanshan was about to use her shadowless kick to get rid of these people, but Lei Qing came out of nowhere and sent them away. Shanshan, are you okay? I'm fine. Su Shanshan shook her head. Lei Qing asked a few more questions carefully, as if he was sure that Su Shanshan was fine. Lei Qing took Su Shanshan back, and Su Shanshan could not say anything. After all, the Shi family was protecting her, and no one dared to touch her. After she came out for a while, the people in the room had already left, and the rest were the drunkards and the few who could barely walk. Lei Qing, as the class monitor, was responsible for sending these people back to the hotel. Su Shanshan was a kind girl, and they were high school classmates, so she naturally helped. After sending the last person away, only Lei Qing and her were left. Let's go back to the hotel together, Lei Qing suggested. They stayed in the same hotel, and Su Shanshan did not mind, and got into the taxi Lei Qing stopped. Back at the hotel, the group of people was still in the lobby, and the hotel's customer service was helping them back to their rooms. Lei Qing had to help again, and it took him more than half an hour. Sorry to trouble you. Lei Qing sent Su Shanshan to the room door, and said a little embarrassedly, We're classmates. Su Shanshan opened the door. Good night. Lei Qing opened his mouth and finally said, Good night. Not long after Su Shanshan entered the room, Lei Qing came again with supper. Su Shanshan was a little embarrassed. It was late at night, and her sister had said that she was not allowed to let men she did not like and were strangers into the room. Just as she was thinking about how to reject Lei Qing without hurting their friendship, a tall figure suddenly interrupted. Sir, you can choose to make an appointment during the day. Are you trying to have sex in the middle of the night? She didn't need to look to know who this voice belonged to. Shi Shua. She hadn't seen wrongly before. He was really in this city. Who are you? Lei Qing looked at the man who suddenly interrupted with an ugly expression. Su Shanshan, is my sister-in-law willing to let you go back alone? Shi Shua did not answer Lei Qing's question. Instead, he turned around and asked Su Shanshan. Speaking of this, Su Shanshan got angry. She was kidnapped by your brother. Lei Qing saw the two's posture and guessed that they knew each other. He immediately said, Shanshan, you guys have something to talk about. I'll go back first. Call me if there's anything. TSK. Shi Shua snorted in disdain. Lei Qing's expression became uglier, but he didn't say anything and turned to leave. "I'll go first." Shi Shuo waited for Lei Qing to leave and immediately waved at Su Shanshan. "Shi Shuo." Shi Shuo turned around. The current Shi Shuo had shed the frivolous look he had in the past. He dressed like a dog and looked more mature and charming. Su Shanshan shook her head and whispered, "It's nothing." Shi Shuo turned around and took 2 steps before stopping. "That man is up to no good. Be careful." "How do you know?" Su Shanshan asked while holding the door. Shi Shuo smiled confidently. "I'm a man. Of course I know what he's thinking. By the way, don't tell them you've seen me. Otherwise, you'll get it when you get back." Su Shanshan rarely saw Shi Shuo, but she didn't know when she started to pay attention to Shi Shuo's movements. For example, when he was taken back to the Shi family, and when he left the Shi family. Shi Shuo would go back during the new year. Shi Shuo liked to stick to Shi Fei, and Shi Fei would definitely be with Shi Sheng. At this time, the 2 people who were despised by Shi Fei could only end up together. But that was it. At other times, Su Shanshan basically didn't see him. Shi Shuo had been urged by his family to get married, but he had never found a girlfriend. He didn't like those introduced by the Shi family. For so many years, Su Shanshan had never heard of any woman by his side. Her sister even secretly discussed with her, suspecting that Shi Shuo liked men. Su Shanshan then paid special attention to the men around Shi Shuo. But he seemed to only be close to Shi Fei. The first person he saw when he came back was Shi Fei, and the last person he saw when he left was Shi Fei. If Shi Fei didn't love her sister so much, she would have suspected that the 2 were gay. And Shi Shuo seemed to only see Shi Fei as his brother. There was no strange behavior or expression. Su Shanshan said goodbye to Lei Qing the next day and made it clear that she didn't like him. She decided that she would chase after Shi Shuo.